Full Sense's burst style worked very well against KRX. The game before that, before they comp swapped, they had a tendency to attacking half. So if they start off very strong on this attacking side and they have just as good of a feel for Lotus, this team could be going to Masters London and we could have yet another upset here.
Full Sense up by one map.
Huge. Full Sense
I think it's spoiled.
A new org to VCT Pacific Tier 1, and they could be just one map away from punching a ticket to London. As we send it back to our casters, Alfish Guy and Quack.
All right, Quack. Here is one thing I want to kind of get across before we go into this map. We are potentially one map away from having Nongshim, Paper X, and T1 all in the lower bracket. That is wild to me.
It is critically insane, I have to say.
Bro, that's
Frost
so awesome.
has been talking up this entire thing throughout, you know, all the teaser trailers that we have. Pacific is hella stacked.
Apparently, I mean, at this point, like, there's a chance we send GE and Full Sense over as the two representatives out of today. And,
I really hope
I
Full
think the way
Sense
Full Sense
wins.
is playing, I kind of back them to close it out. But we'll see whether or not that's going to be a cast of curse as we head here into the piss round of Lotus.
As we start things off with Full Sense and a new composition, they just showed it against KRX, and now they're diving straight over onto C-Site.
Paranoia looks to be a good one there from Munchkin. The buy-in, though, from both Jip Boys and Primmy's is a little bit too much to deal with. Primmy, again, starting well for Full Sense, and man, they are frying, they are cooking today.
Just not letting T1 find any sizzle, any spice whatsoever.
Wants
just
London.
stacks left under the sheriff. And this is going to be a quick firing squad from, well, Full Sense, as you called it yesterday.
Firing squad, it makes sense. I'm just what I'm saying, man.
No friggin' way. But still, I do kind of want to call it out really quickly, though. This composition, right, and that's the entire thing. Again, you're seeing the Vice in play. And once they swap sides, like, this could still be so deadly against a solo duelist T1. And I think that's the whole thing about Pacific. We have so many duelists here, and everyone has been playing double duelist for the entirety of group stage. Meanwhile, other regions we're seeing, you know, people trying to find counters to Neon. T1 hasn't had to deal with that much.
Global
This might be a
esports.
big surprise from Full Sense, and they are definitely within range of possibly getting that qualification instead of T1. This is very real, very possible, and they have to play it right. T1, on the other hand, they're sticking with this composition. They got to keep their game plan tight.
Tight indeed. Tight is white. I have the spike. Very safe start here for Full Sense into round number 2.
We've already heard from the coaches, recognizing how slippery Primmy could be. We're spotting out players on the rotation as well. Both sides quite aware with 1 minute on the clock to go.
Primmy's taking some pretty good space.
They could still pivot to B.
Going to call the team across. It looks to be a commitment here towards A. Primmy out through that smoke, dashing his way forward. Again, providing more and more and more space and kills for Full Sense. He is just so sharp.
How on earth? We get it from his perspective. That was a Marshall, and he's reloaded 3 times and just taken down 3 players. The 4th one as well. He's already 1 point away from Bladestorm. Like,
buddy, he's basically playing aim labs in Valorant. Like, it's just he's just practicing his aim at this point.
You're kidding.
Things are just popping up on his screen, and he's practicing his flicks. Watch this.
Jeez.
No need for a scope. He's got that main character energy after all. You think about the next round, we saw Glass Cannon up. This one, maybe not so much. Maybe not even needed. He swaps over to the Bulldog instead. Cruz onto the Marshall now. This is where the calling might come into place. The meat and potatoes of the entire first half. To see if Full Sense can indeed find the bonus or at least rob guns away from T1. Look at the rotations though. This is so early on and they're thinking that it could be a C hit. Just Buzz, and he should have spotted out quite enough, but smoked off as well.
Oh, Full Sense are playing with confidence. Look at how quick they are moving through the map right now. Straight into the A site. Buzz, terrified. Get me out of here, mommy.
At least he has utility still, so this could be a quick retake shift, but oh.
Why did he die?
Double swing. Full Sense get themselves another opener. And Full Sense have not missed a beat since coming into Lotus. It's feeling exactly like Pearl did.
They're already saving Jordan. You lose Buzz that early on. Meteor as well, who tried to get a little bit shifty.
Hold up.
But a little bit too early, too late.
Yeah, Full Sense,
let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Getting into the heads of T1 a little bit now.
You know, you don't really fault Buzz too much for remaining in that forward position because he's trying to find heads or headshot angles. But if Full Sense are to double swing you out from drop, and you're losing relay ball in fast lane for the retake, that definitely makes sense as to why the rest of them decided to call to save. But 3-0 to start. Are we just gonna see another?
Juice just holding
Full
paranoia.
Sense? Surely not.
I would hope not.
One-way smoke. Okay, they'll keep their guns intact for now.
I mean, it's something for T1.
This is still everything that Full Sense would want, though. Not only is it the rounds being picked up, or the reads on the plays, or the pacing of which they can operate. With 3 rounds in the bank, you can purchase up or upgrade up to an operator at some point whenever Primi decides. And that's always going to be quite the conundrum for T1. We'll have a tech pause for now.
Did they have one of these yesterday?
Always good to start the map with a quick tech
or
pause.
earlier today, I guess.
This time. We had a keyboard issue earlier on. Is
Okay,
it T1 now?
I can't see.
And we'll have to wait for the call. But I mean, like, tell me a little bit about what you were thinking, Jordan. Like, before coming into today, you know, I know we had a work day yesterday. Did you expect
they're called
Full
Sense
to show up like this at all?
No, not really. I mean, I've been actually gobsmacked by today so far. I'm pretty sure, at least if Full Sense goes on to win this game, I will be 0 for 4 for my predictions in place. I'm pretty sure.
That's wild.
However, I did have a goated build diff day yesterday, so
fair enough.
Kind of like hedging my bets, you know. I often sort of vote against myself in a way. I predict one way and then I build diff the other way, and I sort of at least one way kind of makes me happy, right?
That's how you kind of want to play that. What's one of those?
Play the game.
Poker, roulette? I don't know. I don't gamble. We gotta ask Seth. It's one of those where you're just gonna spread your chips all across the table, right? You know. So you're kind of covered all fronts. Hedging your bets. There we go. Thank you so much. I do not know English. But yeah, that could work. But I really don't think anyone would have expected today to be showing up in this fashion. I mean, so you just don't expect PRXG to go in that fashion. But for this one, if Full Sense really does take it that quickly, if it's like that kind of a sweep, I mean, that's insane upsets.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like it's very possible for today. You know, if it's possible for GE to beat PaperX, it's definitely possible for Full Sense to beat T1. I want to say I'm a believer, you know, I really do want to say that, but it is still early days on this map. It's looked good, obviously, so far for Full Sense, but I often have a lot of difficulty kind of getting convinced by an underdog storyline. And I think in this sense, it's fair to say that Full Sense is still the underdog in this matchup.
Yes.
With, you know, the season that T1 have had. And it's the same thing with the GE PaperX matchup. I can watch that game and say, hey, you know what, I think GE are looking like the better team today, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to maintain that over the course of an entire series enough to actually close it out. Obviously, in the case of GE, they were able to do that.
I know, right?
Now that question is thrown in the direction of Full Sense as well. Are they going to be able to maintain this level? I think if they maintain this level, they win today. But it's just whether or not they're actually able to hold on to that kind of momentum. And that often isn't always going to be the case.
You never could know. But I want to take that one step further, Jordan. I'm going to show off my opinion with the fact that while remaining as professional as possible, we have seen Full Sense, or at least the talent core, back when Cruz was the IGL, pull off a masterclass in anti-stratting against his opponents. Back then it was, I think, yeah, T1 in fact, with Buzz on the Yoru, out on Haven when Frost was the coach for Talon. And Cruz just pulled out a deadlock composition out of thin air. And that worked out incredibly well. Now onto the Vise, and he's looking to do the same thing on T1's map pick of Lotus. Holding tight behind a lobby. And they've heard a lot of movement from Buzz.
Yeah, I mean, I've been liking a lot what we've been seeing from Full Sense so far in the playoffs. So I have no reason to doubt them at this point. I think Cruz has been calling a great game. Compositions have looked good. T1, I have to ask, I mean, at this point, have they been a little bit stubborn with this solo duelist setup? Seems to have bitten them a little bit on Pearl, and they've doubled down on it here on Lotus.
Yeah. Playoffs is such a weird point to try and change up your compositions as well. Buzz still with the judge into the corner, though. Surely you check with utility.
Enemy down.
Good shot from Stax. Buzz in a great spot. Flash not going to dissuade him, but still dealt with by Jip Boys. Today is not Buzz's day. Another 0-4 start. He had that exact same scoreline over on Pearl. Primi, on the other hand, 7-0 right now, is the one that's leading from the front for Full Sense. He will be stalled up by the Nightfall. 30 seconds on the clock here. Full Sense wanting to wait it out, but Primi happy to take the fight anyway. Munchkin basically knew where he was, and Primi still wins the duel. Leviathan as well. The mechanics are on a different level for Full Sense right now. They're just hitting everything that they need to. Stax is the only line of defense, but he's a damn good line of defense. What is that from Stax?
Oh my god! Trigger discipline taken to the next level. Stax is monstrous. He tapped. He got a decent dink through the wall, perhaps. And you just have to watch that down slow motion. And let the play do the talking for itself. Look at that. Enough damage done. Just mow them all down as they try to step across. Oh my god. Stand up and kiss the mouse again.
Now that was nutty from Stax, but if that's going to be the only way that you win a round, I am not convinced. I don't think it's unfair to say that Full Sense
they still have a fight, though.
Looking like the dominant force in that round as well. So rough signs ahead here for T1, and again, this time Stax can't deliver. Full Sense have another entry and onto A. There's no defenders there. The rotation is coming across, but man, Full Sense are just getting into these sites way too easily.
Meteor's already been spotted. Not to mention you have Heaven control. The smoke's being
no
set
way
up
they
as
go
well.
out.
Be hiding underneath. Everyone's just stepping away because the spike's already been planted for Tree.
Buzz trying to push his way in. There's a showstopper waiting for it. Nobody game for a tap on that defuse, and Jip Boys, he looked close, but doesn't quite go deep enough to connect. Either way, it has brought so much time for Full Sense.
What a
and
flash.
Munchkin can get nothing done. Izu, the only one for a frag on the retake. Full Sense have got another 4-1, and it's the perfect response to that last round. And I gotta say, Quack, I think that's just like the worst way for this to actually play out for T1. You get a little bit of momentum, you get some hype up, obviously, with Stax finding a really nice round. You think, all right, we're back in the game. And then immediately, any hope is just pulled away from you again. And Full Sense well and truly in control. They are dominating.
Yeah. I mean, look at that little timing on the flash from Killua. So unlucky for Munchkin. But ultimately, that's again what this composition can do. Double duelist, double dive. And they go full force in towards the A site, where it just so happens that Stax was playing around Tree and gets ultimately overwhelmed. The rotation's a little bit slow to the party. They have the showstopper, more layers on top of what the spike already was. T1 needing this timeout desperately, but I just don't know how much KDG and staff can call for the team right now, because it's you're working against so much. You could try to get a little bit more proactive maybe outside of C. We haven't really seen that, but you don't have the guns this time.
Yeah, I think the concern for me right now is, you know, this is actually on the defense as well for T1, which is where they, I think, looked a little bit better on Pearl. If you go into the second half with advantage here for Full Sense, and then Primi starts to get unleashed with the op,
it's done.
I agree. I think it's done. So T1 really need to find a way to salvage things in this first half, and with just the pistols in hand for this round, I have my doubts it'll happen here.
Thinking about it, this time Full Sense calls towards the C site. They have the Outlaw to min-max economy and damage as well for Primi. And everyone else from Full Sense just so careful with how they're playing with the movement right now. It's information being fed across, but Meteor always having his own ideas.
There.
Cruz is happy to just play with Buzz at the moment. Keep him busy. So let's push out in middle.
Could catch a couple players.
Yeah, see what Meteor can get done. He will hear the rotate, if nothing else.
Calling out for Stax to get ready. He's gonna run away with his life. Meteor could start to push up on flank. Full Sense on a whoa, no, to turn around.
Ah, that's awkward timing for Meteor. He just thought about looking to activate.
Oh my god. And that's got to be calling from Cruz again.
Yep.
Maybe alongside Primi, who very close to red C now.
Flash forces Izu to turn away, and he's getting forced back and away from that C site. So plan's going to be an easy one here for Full Sense. Primi on for another.
Spike planted.
This is a very routine game thus far from Full Sense. This is about as easy as they could have possibly hoped this to be.
Textbook Valorant. Flash over, push deeper because you know your opponents are positioned elsewhere, and you get the trade off of it as well. It's just a point up for the ultimates, but down to Buzz where, you know, put on your marathon shoes maybe.
Ooh. Well, marathon shoes not going to save you there. 5-1. Is anything going to save T1 at this point?
Gonna have to be a big buy, maybe some kind of a big round where you get first pick, and that's what Buzz is trying to do with the operator now. Push out perhaps A or C on some extremity of the map, which has been Full Sense's game plan. They've been challenging all these spots. You put a wrench into Full Sense's plans, and then we can have a discussion. But until then, Full Sense positioned to crash into C site. 3 stack from T1.
Flash over the top. T1 ready for the defense this time around. Meteor and Izu able to get into the play early on in the piece, and Full Sense have walked right into the trap. So some success for T1. Finally a good looking round. That is the first good looking round of the map.
Very convincing. Be much more proactive, right? But also setting up outside of Mound allows for them to send that huge paranoia, hitting like a truck. Every single player nearsighted makes it tough for them to take confident fights. Something that, you know, Full Sense always has to be aware of. Not wanting to contend with that currently now. They're going back over onto A site where Buzz still on the op.
That's not going to concern Full Sense all that much. Losing that round, I feel like they can just run it back. Buzz forced away by the flash. He just gets out of there. Little tickle on the way past. Cops 10 HP worth of damage. Not a big deal. But Full Sense are not going to slow down at all. And T1 have seen that before. Buzz sticks around, but maybe a little bit too long. Munchkin with the important secondary frag, and the hold is looking a little better. T1 starting to come into their own now on Lotus. They have been missing for 6 rounds straight. But in the 7th and the 8th, they are starting to look like they've arrived.
That was off of a little timeouts. Feels as though the call was to pivot to a more brawly, more trade-centric style. Just Jit Boys left, and he would be happy to get some more points, but got gunned down by Stacks at the end. 3 on the board now, and they could close in on this gap before the first half gets away from them. All ultimates online as well. I mean, just positioned around it, right? Munchkin into the corner, instant contact from Buzz, Munchkin will peek out. At the same time, everyone rotates over just fast enough, Meteor goes through, Stacks instantly back and pivot off of it. And that's always the trades that this time around will match the pace of Full Sense. The next few rounds, though, you could slow things down a little bit more because you have ultimates to potentially play retakes off. Full Sense, we'll see what the call is going to be. Bladestorm now for Primi.
Not a bad round for it. See if you can have that impact.
That's
and again,
insane how he's still there.
In the control of Full Sense, Munchkin will be forced away.
Wow. One contact, everyone rotates over except for Izu, who could slow things down with the lockdown.
Primi's going to hang around here, though, so he's really going to try and sell a bit of a fake over on A. Maybe catch someone that is looking for more info. Oi, Buzz falls off the line. Hang on a second. Primi can still get some real work done here. Dashes back across to safety. In the end, Full Sense stuck around.
They've pulled T1 all around the seams. 1-2-2 setup now, and it's again Izu being alone. So a slight reset, but position over by the rotating door, and T1 could still put a wrench in the plans if they kind of timed it just right. Lockdown should be coming in.
It's very much going to be a C take. Izu, as of yet, not calling on that lockdown.
Oh, they're sending it this early?
Oh, it's going to set up for a retake.
30 seconds left.
I think that's fine.
Do T1 do Full Sense push the issue?
Well, they haven't even planted just yet. Primi's going to be the one to push the issue, and it doesn't matter whether or not
yeah.
there's a plan. Primi's just killing
Why
everyone.
didn't they just push up?
Killua will fall in the meanwhile. I think that lockdown largely irrelevant. 4v3 now, and T1 have to fight to take control of even a position to think about a retake. Primi, again, like I said, is killing everyone. He gets some help in the end from Jit Boys and Cruz, but Full Sense have just picked T1 apart one by one.
Maybe the worst from I've seen in a while.
I feel like we haven't even seen Primi's final form.
It seems so.
The fact that those kills, Jordan, were done with Blade Storm, that's pixel perfect accuracy. Look at this. Buzz just picked up Overdrive, and he got instantly slapped downward. It costs T1 an arm and a leg to even try to bring this round back, but they still can't quite make it happen. Tried to set up for it, but Full Sense just continue to shove more down up towards CT. And then next round goes up in towards A.
I love that we just see Primi stand and deliver. Twice now he's been hit by the Nightfall, and twice he's just said, yeah, come at me, bro. And he's killed the guy that's tried to find him.
I'm ripped. I dare you.
Again, Full Sense happy to take a quicker approach toward the A site, but this time, you know, the conditioning that they've showed has pulled a lot of those rotates over towards A, and instead they're working their way into B. This is the first time we've seen them approach that site. Plant's going to be a bit of a freebie in the end.
Not quite the amount of space that you would want it, I think. Still set up, but with a Viper's Pit, yes. Well, it's going to be something that Full Sense will consider, though. But what? We're pivoting. We're pivoting.
I don't know about this. Straight into the op of Buzz. It'll be smoked off. Hang on a second. Buzz is giving away his position now. Surely Primi's going to strike. It won't go his way. Meteor will find him in the end. This has gotten a little bit too busy for Full Sense. Have they overcooked this round? Gonna have to go back over to B. TP in here from Leviathan to get back into the site safely, but Stax is here on the flank, wrapping his way in, spotted out by Killua, but it'll be to the detriment of Killua. Trade through, but with 19 seconds on the clock, I don't know how Full Sense can pull this one together. Cruz takes a risk, and it will be one that does not pay off. It's all on the shoulders now of Leviathan, and the shots are not clean enough. Full Sense just get a little bit too tricky for their own goods.
Yeah, it just might be, huh? Of course, they weren't privy to the information about the Viper's Pit. They were always thinking, these guys are hiding inside of there. They're looking to fast blood back in against us as soon as we try to get the spike down. So you can't really blame them, but oh my goodness, Munchkin, what a call to just stick around, get out of the pit, in fact. And you can just kind of imagine, he's like Ross from Friends calling, pivot! We know that Full Sense are going to be trying to end up on C. So they stick around just long enough, and Meteor will be able to find the frags necessary just to give them enough information to end up back on towards this final destination of B site. Quick chess games being played between both IGLs, and we're at a 4 and 6 right now, where Full Sense still could find a big lead. Slowing things down a lot more this time, but T1 getting proactive outside of C again.
Leviathan, paranoia being held. Might have been a good one had they pulled the trigger, but Munchkin's out of there now. So this time, just a solo defender towards C. It'll be a little bit of an easier progress forward for Full Sense.
Izu will not be bullied, though. Calls over a Meteor. Full Sense is trying to get a right read around all of it. Meanwhile, Flash is being set up. T1 could peek out if they wanted to.
Dark Cover's going to go through. Full Sense will be dissuaded for now. By that Omen util.
Just hit by the paranoia, but also smoked off. Full Sense, what's the call going to be?
Well, they haven't called the cancel. Still have Jit Boys with the show stopper. If they want to try something explosive, they can pop that. Seeker's opting to go forward, and oh dear, Jit Boys checks left when he should have checked right, or vice versa. Either way, it doesn't matter, he's dead. And Full Sense, their entry into C has not worked out despite 2 big ultis, 3 in fact actually, so they pulled off the Steel Garden 2.
What?
Not quite being as clean as they would want, but they might still win the round. Primi and Cruz activating TP forward here from Munchkin.
Wait, did he see him?
Yes, he did.
No way they lost that. He's
Primi
15 and 5.
15 and 5.
15 and 5. 15 and 5.
Ridiculous.
That was looking awkward for a second though for Full Sense.
A little bit, yes. I mean, it's a big trap setup, or just a play again from T1 where they finally have the confidence, take more forward space outside of B. And that's where they're able to play around that rotating door. So as soon as they find contact with that showstopper, they swing the door.
Bro, what was
Cruz,
this
though,
kill?
with the quick reaction. But
No,
what really does it for me is this shot right here. He takes down Buzz, who was on an up.
Buzz is on the bad game right
was
now.
on him, in fact.
Horrible game.
But somehow, Cruz gets it instead. A little bit quicker. And you have to quickly go over onto the last round of the first half, where once more forward space being taken up by T1. Alone, though.
Oh, Izu flashed back down behind Mound. He's still bound. Find himself an angle for the double. He's going to go forward. Meteor inside of the orb. The TP forward saves the day there for Leviathan, and somehow Meteor, he's in all sorts of shambles. He's got no idea where to go right now. Jip Boys eventually catches up with him. It's a shambolic round. But Full Sense have stabilized for now. Flank's coming through though, and I'm not sure Cruz will be ready for it. Turns around in time. So Stacks falls. And it's 2 to try and stave off another 8-4 lead for T1. Buzz pushing his way through. How is Leviathan alive again? I don't know. Jit Boys all over it. And Leviathan,
They have the luck of the gods. What is happening?
Sneaky player gets it done. I don't know how he's lived through that round. He's just TPing all over the place.
Sneaky boy. Let's watch that again. I mean, the neon patch, the shotgun nerfs, they're not even in yet, but the range wasn't quite there, you suppose. And if there's anyone to stabilize Full Sense, it would be Cruz. Checks towards the back, and despite the best efforts, yeah, it's way too far off. Chit Boys, alongside Leviathan, being able to clean house.
Let's go, baby.
Just the quick calls, and they continue to hit C again. 4-8, same score that we had from the first half of the previous map. I don't like it. I don't like it for T1.
Nope, I don't like it either. I mean, we talked about the possibility of this getting rough for T1 if they are down on the defense, and they are very much down on the defense. Their attack was looking very, very rough, very tough. I mean, Primi was all over the place with the op on the defense of the last map, and there's no reason to expect that he can't do the exact same thing here. Primi fans in the crowd are eating good tonight.
Oh, Full Sense, come on, bro.
With all the plays that have been put on the plate today, especially on the defensive half that you're talking about, I also want to think about the setups that Cruz could put forth with the Vise. That's definitely going to slow down
Pistol
Buzz.
huge,
But
pistol
then again,
huge.
if this is to go the distance, that would mean T1 has to be that flawless, has to be that perfect. It's not just Buzz that has to go forth. I mean, you have to play that kind of tactical style, force Full Sense to think about where you could actually be ending up. I want to see fakes. I want to see pressure being built up against Full Sense. That all depends on how Cruz might be able to shrug it off. 1-3-1 for now, and T1 start to
I think I just drew
on their approach. Slight lurk players being set in, trying to sell a fake towards the B site maybe.
This won't be a bad paranoia, but there's no one really to follow up on it if Munchkin throws it, so I don't think we're going to get much out of it.
Just sitting in case Full Sense does decide to swing maybe, which could be good. Either way, T1 now trying to find that pivot back over onto C site. And they're slowly creeping across while Buzz onto the lurker roll now will spot out Primi. And that should give actually T1 pretty good idea of where the rest of Full Sense could be positioned. We've only seen initial contact. They creeping through.
Oh, Leviathan gets back to safety for now. The flash is coming through. Leviathan can't quite convert fully, but that's enough. And Jip Boys is starting to push his way forward. That spike has been dropped. A chance goes begging. Primi and Cruz now have to recover it again as that dynamic duo.
30 seconds left.
Primi happy to creep his way forward, even despite the fact that Cruz is not here. He knows that he needs to try to find a timing. Munchkin is low. There'll be a swing back in though if Primi gets this kill for free. Buzz! Oof, if he would have fallen.
They hit his shoulder or something.
That would have been scary. Cruz though, low, should not get anything.
Okay, we got a game, we got a game.
Will go the way of T1.
And you gotta imagine that's gonna convert to some form of stability for the Korean star team. I mean, this is one heck of an ice-cold play. You knew the thorns were there, so you kind of stepped over it by shift walking into sight. Thankfully, Jit Boys was around with the paint shells, but as he swung around the corner of stairs, he got met with a face full of lead. So that's ultimately what became the undoing. Now you got guns being brought up, but 2 sheriffs. So many players onto slightly weaker buys.
Okay, good start for Izu. Push out here from Full Sense. They're going to try to cause a bit of a ruckus at Rubble, and they're just going to be added to the Rubble as T1 sweep them aside.
I feel like the camera was on Meteor and he didn't
forget everything
shit.
I said. I really thought they were just going to kind of sack the sheriff players to try to find the spike somewhere else instead, but if they're able to shoot that sharply, why not? We could have a real map here, depending on how Full Sense continues to play on the defense as well. Clearly, they might be discouraged further from peeking out. Forward space, quite the risk to take now, especially with the guns being brought in. Big guns being bought up by T1 as well, so they could convert.
Yeah, Bud's going to go quickly. He's got that judge in tow, so wants to get in nice and close and personal. Primi, he's not going to make a mistake there, mate. That is the easiest kill of Primi's life.
Leviathan as well, spamming through the smoke, what?
That's crazy if he did that.
Yeah, right back to square one for T1. You know, they get their time in the sun, they get the pistol, they get the second round, and then it's like, well, we're back to our regularly scheduled proceedings of Full Sense absolutely dominating.
He sprayed through the smoke again?
Primi wants to make something happen here, and he gets the chance to. Oh, the quick stutter step. He's been watching the NRL. That's going to be a joke that goes over most people's heads.
Sorry.
But the Aussies will get it.
Rugby?
Yeah.
There we go. But nonetheless, you're absolutely right. Oh my god. I mean, how can that happen? Primi kind of biffed the dash back, but Munchkin, like this is definitely some, you know, mental plays. Like he tried to land that flick, but Primi's just still that good mechanically.
Yeah. He's just got such mastery of that agent.
It's always been the matchup for these two teams. I mean, all players quite mechanically, skilled. But this time around, Full Sense look a lot more coordinated. It will be slowed down by Meteor, though.
Boy, that's a cheeky angle for
Pretty
Izu
cheeky.
behind the turret, but kill over towards Rubble is the real concern here for Full Sense. It's allowed Meteor to take a bit of space, and it's prompted a big rotate. Full Sense, though, have 3 players here on A, so if
he's just standing there.
From T1, hang on a second.
Like what?
Jit Boys goes for more.
Oh
Why
my
does
god,
he go for more? Unbelievable.
What was that flash?
2-on-2. He's just fearless on the
ring.
ring.
That was an flash. Where'd that come from?
Has allowed time for Cruz to actually set himself up into A. Killua's come through to set up by door. The rotation into B will be cut off, but he can't get through to reinforce A without making noise. So a lot of this is going to come down to Cruz now.
What he's able to find, unfortunately, that's the answer to that is nothing.
I could go see here.
Cruz should be calling to it that he's not seeing anything on the A side soon enough. So Killua repositions to a more defensive spot. The spike goes down, and if T1 doesn't clear it, Killua has an opportunity.
Yeah, this is a sick angle for him to peek the side from. I'm not sure that T1 will be expecting this. The plant tapped, and Buzz is not watching. There's the freebie. Flash around the corner. Killua goes for more. He actually spots Munchkin on the exit, so that's
too
good
early for
information in and of itself. Got that dog out to try to find some info for Cruz, and Munchkin surviving for now, courtesy of that dark cover. They know exactly where he's got to be holding right now, surely waiting for that dark cover to just dissipate, and then they'll swing him.
It's not in the smoke, you know that.
Goes forward. Munchkin's backed his way off. Plant's not ideal necessarily for him. He's going to have to proper swing, and Killua waiting for it, but Munchkin gets it done! And T1 will survive another round.
Where they put themselves actually not that far off from tying up the score.
I think they still have a bye now.
Clutch. Yeah. Just incredible. He sets up that smoke and kind of uses it as a wall. I'm surprised more so that Full Sense didn't spam through it or anything, but that's what happens when those moments are that tense. Full Sense tried their best, but even then, I mean, shit boys. God, what an insane peak. But I think that's one of those things about this attack side for T1 as well, is that they can go silent, and it would be then difficult for Full Sense to read. Right now, though, it's utility and a lot of
dead.
Oh, Showstopper is just going to get the better of Munchkin. That's an unfair fight for him. Primi in the meanwhile as well, by the way. He's got the operator in hand for the first time this half and already having an impact. So T1, they get through with a clutch, but Full Sense are still the team that's on top at the start of so many of these rounds, and it's constantly an uphill battle for T1.
I know.
Good shot from Kahlua, drops the spike.
What the fudge are they?
Definitely shown right now, and so much information for. Oh, hang on, Buzz. He's gonna give it a good try. Swings out from Full Sense, and he takes off another head.
That's a little awkward from Full Sense, I'm not gonna lie. 4v2, back down to 2-on-2. Very winnable round here on the behalf of T1. They're actually gonna go all the way through to C.
Okay. And he's just human scouting as much as possible with the movement. Meteor in a staggered position.
Don't love this round from Full Sense actually, but maybe still going to be salvageable. You've got Primi alive, and he has been a real big difference maker for Full Sense. Wrap in from Meteor, does not get it done, and Full Sense, they both hit their shots. So 10 double digits secured, and Full Sense are now 3 rounds away from London.
Simultaneous execution. 3 more rounds, and who knows? It's either T1 to tie it up or to bring the score a lot closer, or Full Sense to have their moment. I mean, showstopper play.
I call that a panic showstopper, really.
True, it is, it is. But after that fact, you know, just trying to methodically clear out a lot of corners where they know the Full Sense players are positioned, it kind of works out pretty darn nicely. The one thing they didn't expect, though, was Primi to be on that op and to silently creep across. It's so difficult when it's at 2v2 as well, and now the economy's terrible.
Oh, you are so dead.
Primi looking for it, but forced away. There's a hefty offense headed in his direction. T1 are not going to be slowing things down. Primi is flashed out by that paranoia as well, so has to give some ground. Munchkin taking up residence, and Cruz is a dead man. Not that he knows it just yet. Instant trade though by Jitboys. Maybe Munchkin waited a little bit too long.
That was
all
an insane trade.
Here on the retake. Pit is through Boombot to try and clear it out, and Leviathan on the flank catches Izu in the side. Jitboys death from above, courtesy of Meteor. Leviathan straight on in, finds both, and Full Sense will go.
What are they doing at this point? They're just sending shiz.
The nautical beast just drags them down into the abyss. I just can't believe it. They already kind of knew that it was always going to end up on C. And even though Primi doesn't quite land the shot, I mean,
was that their full buy or their save?
Perfect. And
there was a save. He had a
that's where
bucky.
you can behold what the Vise does against T1's composition. Still, though, ultimately, I think it's heroic
Look at this trade.
From Jitboys that
Trade.
kind of cement.
This dude's standing. Is he lost or something? And then this dude just sends it.
Leviathan. Oh my God. Circling all around. They know there's blood in the water now.
We're going to London, baby. Come on. Let's fucking get this shit.
Yeah.
Come on.
All right.
This is the biggest round yet.
Dejected looking faces.
They lose or broke.
The side of T1. And no words even from the coaching booth. This is a timeout from T1. Yeah. But neither of the coaches are even saying anything.
What?
I mean, it could be Buzz.
Why do you take a timeout?
Like,
I hear you. I feel you. Maybe, you know, whatever Munchkin and everyone else is kind of calling to it. But then again, like, it's such a difficult, puzzling situation to be in. How do you find a solution against this when Primi is just being able to swing all around? Again, I kind of think it has to be something a little bit more slow and methodical. But when you're down, what is this, 9 to 11, 7? I don't know. I can't remember what the score was.
It's not 9-11, bro.
It's just incredibly difficult because pressure is mounting. You think if you're trying to play it slow, that might be where, you know, things break. In fact, it's 7 to 11.
Yeah. Well,
Nightfall. Gotta bum rush it into A site maybe.
Yeah, T1 just got to keep trying to run it back. Full Sense this time set up for aggression outside of C, and they're very happy to take that space at Mound. They recognize there's a lot going on at Rubble, so they can take that space pretty quickly. Play for the retake on A.
Oh my God.
Nightfall's not going to connect onto anything. Sure, it gets T1 into the site. It feels as though this is kind of going to plan in a sense for full
you're wild, bro.
See what Jip Boys can do, holding on to his position. Flank coming through now.
Well, at least a lot of floor space has been taken up apart from the post plant too.
Primi's going to break that door open. Pops the Blaze Storm as well. He wants to get in there, and he will. It's Izu that will fall first. T1 down on numbers now, but time is ticking in their favor. Stacks set up by Tree. He's going to be uncontested for the moment as Full Sense will go elsewhere, and now blinded out. Cruz will not check it. He's a dead man. Frag still coming through though for Full Sense as they just bully their way onto the site. Buzz's position is known. Stacks' position is known. Defuse is on. Stacks can do nothing about it. He breaks that defuse eventually, but will be traded down. And Full Sense, they don't have the time. So Stacks could do everything about it.
Incredibly close, but it came down to the spike. I mean, it felt as though Full Sense were a death squad and nothing could stop them, but Father Time
is he hacking?
Was that
just threw a knife
this
at nothing.
Time around. Stacks into the corner, but apart from that as well, the Seeker is just to initiate the entire fight. Blaze Storm and everything, but just to bring it back around. T1 will hang on by a thread off of that Red Bull clutch. They will be able to afford up maybe a few more rounds, depending on how this one goes. Full Sense off to full pistols. A full stack
we got
on
a
the
series
C side
here.
even.
Well, you don't want to be running into that. This would not be the way that you want to lose the map as T1. Obviously, it wouldn't quite put it over the line, but it certainly would get it very close for Full Sense, and it would be a nail in the coffin, I feel, if they lost this round.
Everyone, the Korean casters, the crowd, just watching with bated breath to see if T1 can send us to a map 3.
Oh, they're gonna go into the stack of Full Sense. Stacks. He knows all about Stacks apparently, and he's got it on lockdown. Jip Boys gets himself just the one, so it's not as disastrous as it could have been.
Oh, he's dead.
Stacks is a dead man. Jip Boys will catch up with him, so 2 for 2 as far as Full Sense are concerned. That's a win.
Yeah, big numbers. In fact, they pick up the guns. Jip Boys is close to an ult. He still has the nade. You never quite know.
Close to an ult,
Meteor has to make it so incredibly painful on this look. If not, this round could actually be turned around by Full Sense.
Spike goes down. Full Sense quite a bit of ground still yet to cover. Do you rip the showstopper here? Ooh, you're definitely pulling out that lockdown, which is showing the mindset of T1. They are trying to ensure as best as they can that they lock this round in. So it buys him a bit of extra time. Full Sense are still lurking, and Jip Boys has found himself that kill. Surely now they start to feel there's a chance on offer. 1v1. Cruz.
No way he has time.
Vandal in hand. He's on the defuse. He's just going to sit it. I think he has to sit it. Gets the half. Meteor's down. Is there time?
There's time.
That's the question. Full Sense. They think they've got it, and they
Holy
do. 12 to 8. They are now 1 round away.
So Meteor, just to say, Meteor went all the way through here. He came here, onto B, the door opened, and then he just decided to go back to stairs.
T1 tried to pull off the assertions in towards the site. They kind of get a read over for how Full Sense plays it, but they took too much damage in that moment, in that exchange. And when it comes down to the checks on towards site, even with the lockdown, it just reveals such a triumphant moment.
Wow, we're actually 1 round away from London.
They've got to stay locked in, but the economy's so darn broken for T1.
This dude has an off.
Yeah, and Showstopper wasn't even used either there, by the way. So that's still in the back pocket here for Full Sense. This is looking like a ticket signed, sealed, and delivered to London. It's not over just yet. Can T1 pull off a miracle comeback? 4 rounds required.
It's going to be the nasty flick if he picks.
It's a big task.
Such a big play just to extend it as well. They're waiting to see if Full Sense gives them a reaction, but nothing found. No quarter given.
He's so cooked. He's going to have to prep the dash.
On an angle.
Oh, he's good for 1. He's always good for 1. In fact, if I was a betting man, I'd say he's probably good for 2. Maybe 3. It is going to allow T1 into the site, but at the cost of a player, I'm not sure that it's necessarily worth it. I mean, look at all of the retake util available here for Full Sense. You've got the showstopper, and that's going to be pulled out.
He is good for 2.
There's the second I win.
London's so
and
close,
so
baby.
Too does Full Sense by the looks of things. As
2 more.
Chip Boys connects with the showstopper.
1 more.
Buzz will fall, and it's all on the
We're gonna London.
He can't ace this time. It is Full Sense. They will get that defuse. They get to 13.
Global esports in Full Sense at London, baby.
But they go one better here when it matters, and they break T1's win streak. They take the slot at London.
Okay.
What a better way to do it.
Holy shit. That's insane. That's insane. Oh, Aura, look at that, look at that. Look at that. Let's fucking go, man. Bro, be honest. In the last match in groups, were they shooting our bodies, man? Were they shooting our bodies? Because that's karma if I ever seen it.
To go through to Ho Chi Minh, but also over to London as the Pacific representative.
Holy shit, we got global esports in Full Sense at London.
Is it means PaperX, T1.
It's upside down. It's the wrong, yeah.
Down in the lower bracket. That's 2 Masters finalists.
That's insane.
That's insane.
Well, one of them definitely will not make the next Masters. Maybe both.
So in the lower bracket, it's literally.
Let's not forget RRQ as well. Let's throw that into the discussion because we still
it's literally
have Ho Chi Minh
KRX,
on the cards.
Gnomeshim,
and
then it's fudging T1, PaperX, and you're like, oh, these 4 teams only one can go to London, and then you have over here you have DFM and RRQ. Like what the fuck? Oh my gosh. DFM's like, we're good. You can have it, RRQ. You can go there. Holy shit.
They get that 2-0 yesterday. They get the 2-0 today.
That's so awesome. I'm so glad I didn't get spoiled by that.
To head ourselves down to the stage to hear from Jen.
Is that my boy
네,
Primi?
풀센스의 프리미 선수 만나보겠습니다. 승리 축하드립니다. 오늘 승리로
Let's go to London, baby. Wait, we have a global esports Full Sense upper final. Well, one of those teams will be in grand final. That's insane. Full Sense global esports is crazy. It's actually crazy upper final.
With this win, you guys are heading to Vietnam for Pacific Roadshow, and also you guys are locked in for Masters London. Although you look very stoic, I know you're very excited, so tell
Let's
us about
go,
what it
man.
feels like to be able to go to Vietnam and London.
ได้ไปทั้งเวียดนามแล้วลอนดอนตอนนี้รู้สึกยังไงบ้าง
ก็รู้สึกดีใจครับผมแล้วก็เป็นครั้งแรกที่ได้ไปมาสเตอร์ด้วยครับก็หวังว่าจะสนุกไปเลยครับ
It's his first Masters. He feels very happy and excited to see what's gonna be there.
아무래도
Sentinels will be there,
개인적으로
bro.
첫 번째
Sentinels
마스터즈이다
will be there.
보니까
So we go to
마스터즈도
EMA?
어떨까 많이
I
기대가
have like
되고
2 hours.
설렜다고
I think we
얘기를
can get 1
하는데요.
match
그리고
in.
이번 T1과의
Was it
리매치
foot
어떤
versus
부분에
EF?
특히 집중했는지도 들어보고
Do we see
싶네요.
the
Do you
bracket?
guys really
Let's just see the bracket quickly.
Better than
Look at this insane bracket. Look at this insane bracket, bro. I think I literally said in one of my videos, if we're being unrealistic, I want global esports, Full Sense, and PRX, I'm pretty sure. Because of what's a Masters without PRX in London. And I think I predicted PRX to win, T1 to win. I didn't even predict Full Sense to be KRX. I predict this. And I thought PaperX would win here. That's insane, man. That's insane. And I had like global esports here. I had global esports all the way to the finals. Isn't that fudging and crazy? That's insane, man. Look at this demonic. No, I got that. This is your London match, by the way. And then look at this. We gotta have Gnomeshim win. What day is this? This is tonight. Oh, then I think I work. What does this start? 3? Okay, so I'll be here for this one. I'll be here for this. I'll miss a tiny bit of this. Or it's... How does it work again? There's like I don't know. There's some time for like the shiz. You know what I mean? Let's go to emo. Okay, don't click on any spoilers. Here we go. We gotta get right into it. I predict Foot over EF. These are London matches too. Let's go straight to the walkouts. Why is she here? What is happening? What is this?
And the additions of Sociable and Sop, a classic
Yeah, I don't care.
that we've centered. The Turkish to compete.
They cut her off. I think Foot just 2-0 now, but I have no idea. They both look the same. I think Foot looked better though. I hope they scream at each other, man. I hope for 3 maps. Eternal Fire. A Turkey team will be at London. And we got a Thai team at London. That's insane. And I can't find the fudging garbage.
Next time one of these rosters walks up on stage, it will be with a ticket to Masters London in their pocket. It all lies and comes down to this matchup.
Should we skip it? I haven't seen the map, so.
We're sending one of our Turkish rosters to a global. What better way to start things off to know where we're going with the map veto, as we have Pearl, Ascend, and Split.
We get Ascend,
We're seeing another Ascend, we're seeing another Pearl. You know what, Billy? If I'm an Eternal Fire fan, I can't complain. Yeah, I mean, I
think I just
Vinny
have
has an
Foot 2-0
instant
now.
reaction to
Today,
Also, we saw the Neon Nurse yesterday. Check that out in like the 10-hour search for it. The 10-hour video search. Search for that scissor.
I'm going to be honest, I'm so excited for, because from speaking to the players, we heard that like the teams that played against Eternal Fire thought that Eternal Fire were going to make it. The teams that played against Foot thought they were going to make it, because they have been horrible to play against. And now we get to see who does it best, because only one can be the most aggressive, most fiery team within the region. And at the start of it, you can already see that contact made. Sop with a shot through the wall. We heard there's some potential bad blood between him and his team. We'll see if that's the start of something.
Certainly a strong start with Foot taking the A side as a result of that pick, landing
I
a
don't care
plant
who
as
wins,
well.
really.
There's no real way for
Because it'll
Eternal
be,
Fire
I
to
forget the
punish
bracket though.
what's on the other side for Foot. They keep the control over our 3 players there, but one looking the wrong way. Echo slides in for a quick one while Izzy gets back into the action with a
It's
double.
Heretics BBL.
Now, suddenly, the shoe on the other foot.
So it'll be
as
like,
Eternal
I'll do it
Fire
after the
heat
round,
up into
because
this
it's
A
close.
side. One found by Yedije as time ticks away. The flash up close catches Fabian. He's caught himself with it. The defuse to half. Now Foot goes swinging in and deny for a moment, buying that little more time. But the battle is what Eternal Fire wanted.
Oh, they're screaming already.
1-0 for the
It's
defense.
this is the lower BBL.
Just straight back
Team
and forth
Heretics.
in the
And
pistol
the
round.
loser of this,
I
or
have
like
to say, like, coming
TH
into this series,
probably.
I thought there was maybe even an
And
opportunity
then like
for Foot to ban this match
Foot.
and maybe head
And
somewhere
then
else, just because of how good
whoever wins goes
Eternal
to the
Fire
London
have been,
match.
how awkward they make it to play against them. Of course, the compositional change, I think, definitely makes things a bit more interesting about how they'll face off against them. And then for Foot, well, I know this is something you're always going to talk about, the hometown of Ascent. We always give it over to those Turkish players. But to pick it versus another Turkish team, I think is daring.
Oh, for sure. We've talked about it a million times. Your 82nd province of Turkey over on Ascent. Things have changed in recent times, in the last year or two, really. But it still is one of those coin flips, as you say, pick up against the Turkish team. Being one yourself certainly helps you out, but
Well, like you said, starting it out, this game is all about fighting fire with fire. For EF, they're the ones to draw first blood.
I swear if Vitality win, I have to see Vitality at London, I'm going to lose my shiz.
Couple SMGs in there, but no player operating on a pistol here. It means the margin for error is decently
I hope Foot win, though.
low. A chance
I want
for
to see
Foot
Fnatic
to
Foot.
make this a economically costly round at the very least. But look how patient EF are being. On the B side of the map, super passive holds. Yes, they've pushed up B long, but that's where the push stops. And that gives so much information. It allows a 3-stack on A. It stops over rotations. It stops panic from coming into play. And as the timer ticks on, Foot have no ground. And they haven't managed to force the fights they were looking to out of that early aggression.
It looks like they're just going to try
plenty of ground. They just have to go to Art, spawn, do the trip, the B. They just don't know it yet.
Eternal Fire are calling the bluff of their opponent, and when you're known as a team that goes hyper aggressive, when you don't go aggressive, your opponents can get a little bit confused. Not a bad start though. One of those guns already dropped. That timer is ticking, and they've traded out effectively. A couple of guns picked up. A plant guaranteed. Now the other two only just getting on the scene.
Yeah. Get shizzed on that.
Sop with another. This round spiraled out of control. It stands in the hands of the Outlaw and Izzy. Already managing to find an upgrade, at least a chance to take them both down now. He's got the right weapon, but a tough job.
What a shot. Oh, ho, 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 ho.
Sop right behind him. Izzy with
I would have been so clutch on Foot.
Clutch. The round should always have been Eternal Fire's, but that is outrageous. The Red Bull clutch.
That's crazy. Again, it's just the back and forth of these rounds. Like, going into the site with just over 15 seconds left, managing to trade out with basically...
I'd rather have Foot at London than EF, I think, but...
Great work with the classics. And then Izzy managing to isolate
if you
both
beat
of
Foot,
those
like,
fights.
then who cares?
Demand to replace Sop, and it's safe to say Sop has been going for it in some of these early rounds. We heard from Ordaz, we sort of asked him, is there going to be anybody that is really gunning to beat Sop? And he said the in-game leader of Neki, the man who probably would have wanted to keep this core together. But to be honest, if Izzy keeps playing like that, he might not miss him too much.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a big round from Izzy. Again, though, looking at how we got there. The start of the round, it should be EF's win. And for Foot, they can be happy that they pushed it so far, that they made it costly. This should now be an easy round. Like you said, the bye week for Eternal Fire, when this could have been 5 weapons, granted 2 SMGs, 2 Bulldogs, but they've got none of that to work with now, except the one on Izzy. Look how easy these fights find their way into the hands of Foot. A little bit of a danger brewing here with Izzy.
I'm scared Slifer is over at B.
Shut down and put in his place. Big round from Zeus and an in-zone flawless. That's how it should have went for Foot. And now you think about the last 2 rounds. Dominantly winning the one they should here and making a very weak round that had 30 seconds left by the time they pushed the site with no ground, no info, and they brought it down to a 1v2.
Yeah.
The start is
I don't know what
looking
they're
good
saying.
for Foot.
Yeah, I will say, I like the fact that Eternal Fire don't over-reinvest in that round. They look at it and go, look, the last one was scuffed. Let's take an eco, see what we can do. And now go back into the
he won against Classics, mind you. He won against Classics, mind you.
Aggressive stance. The reveal is fantastic.
Oh,
but he gets nothing off the back of it. Foot not taking any early damage.
That's funny.
They're going to retreat back into a bit of a mid-play. Cristalli going looking, but nothing to be found.
It will be a slow burner to start. A minute 15 and Foot go walkabouts on the doors. There's one spotted. Information for Eternal Fire to work with. Having pushed up an A main, though, I think the real danger is that Izzy decides to go pushing further, that he tries to take that space and walks right into Yedege. For now, that's what Foot are hoping for, that either Yedege gets the contact or they find some space towards B, but here's the real payoff. If he can find one, and he does, beautiful work. Almost gets away with dodging the flash as well. A trade here for Eternal Fire. It's not bad, but it does put that pressure on those players stranded on B long as Foot look to finish this push.
They're gonna have to give the game away, but those rotations are very far away. This double up might be a surprise though. You can see Foot being careful to try and clear everything other than towards long.
Nice.
And that's where Ordaz will strike. And third, for him looking to try and almost close this out alone. Well, eventually,
That's a huge
Echo
round.
is there to help him. A fantastic
look at them
round
speak.
from Ordaz.
Wait, I'm pretty sure that's my keyboard. I'm pretty sure he has my keyboard.
He's been the quiet. Actually, Echo is there to help him.
It's pretty identical. Like the way, oh yeah, that's mine. That's 100% mine when it boots up. It's that color.
A fantastic round from Ordaz.
What would be telling is this right here.
Well, having a look back to their previous series as well, I feel like at
It's
times
close
he's
to
been
it,
the
I will say.
quieter member
Very
of this
close.
squad. But in their last match, he was their best
I swear if I
player.
open my
By a
keyboard
fairly
up,
considerable margin, and if he's going to play like this, it's going to be a bad day for Fur.
and I go to the
Oh,
default,
we've seen that now from a few players.
You could say about any of them, really.
Yeah, that's
Where
the
is
exact
it?
thing, right? Like, Neki ain't got on the board yet, but you know he's outgunning for them as well. So there's really no
where the
limit
fudge would it be?
to what they can find in terms of individual success. And for now, the team thriving as well. As we said, round 2, round 3, they point towards upticks
I clicked
for
on the wrong
Foot, but
thing.
losing out on that previous, a big round for Ordaz like that, that's going to put a spanner in the works. And for Foot, they're not taking a timeout here. This is a technical pause that we're stepping into briefly, but this next round carries a lot of weight. It's where we're potentially going to see SOP pull out an op if they want it on the attack side. And even without that, everyone's going to be putting their credits on the line. If they have another one where they fall flat like that, again, opening pick, they took down the op, they put pressure on that other side of the map as a result, and they walk into one man, basically.
No.
He's got a friend with him on
It
line.
does look like that,
It
though.
only took one, catching them all
Does
off.
it not look
He was
like
basically
that?
his cameraman. He's just walking behind.
Shiz.
Long, but
Yeah.
it only took
Nope.
one, catching them all off.
He was basically his cameraman. He's just walking behind him like, I don't see
Cypher the cameraman, yeah.
But no.
This one's always
again,
trippy,
It
this
just
one's
shows
always
the
trippy.
levels of these Eternal Fire players and how exciting they've been to sort of watch. And then that's sort of the cool thing about these series
Anyway.
in general. Obviously, we talk about Foot
I swear he
as
has
an
the color.
organization and the fact that they have been
When I
to
fudging,
plenty of events before. We've seen them at Champions, we've seen them at Masters. It's nothing new
when it turns
to
on,
Yettage.
I fudge with
But
the
then you look
colors.
across the board on the rest of the team, and the Sociable might be the man now joining me in his 30s, but making it to that international stage hasn't been a
biceps
thing.
a little
For
sore.
the likes of Zeus, like I always think of the highs of Zeus individually, but he also hasn't been there. And then you go across the stage and you have
Tech
one
break?
man
Okay, I'm
who's
skipping
made
tech
it to
breaks.
an international event, which is Izzy, but that was yonks ago. I don't think, like maybe he dreamed.
Eternal Fire, this would be a monumental victory for Foot, a
It would.
sign that the
Wait,
changes
what?
they've made to the roster have put them back on course. The Flame heating up with a 3-1 scoreline on the defense, and Izzy is not letting off the gas. He's already found an opening, but it's returned immediately. Echo getting a little bit greedy around Art, and that's going to get the ult out of Fabian. That's probably not the flash we wanted to see, but he gets away with a kill anyways. And they're still going.
That's huge, that's huge.
The re-swing from Izzy. There's always a second layer with Eternal Fire.
I
you think you
oh my
finally
gosh,
quelled
Foot
the
is some,
flames, and then it
like,
rises
they're
from the
different
ashes
for
once
picking
again.
ashes. How do you
Burn
pick a
your
center?
forest down,
Actually
and while
insane.
Foot are feeling the burn. A run back towards the B side. They think, okay, they've had, what, how many? 3, 4 players?
How do you want
pressure
it?
us
You
in
want
mid,
Ascent
they
to
heard
be the
fallback.
third
How
map?
many players can there
Or
realistically
the
be
decider,
on
and
this
you
side
want
of
your
the map?
team to choose
Well, the
between
answer
the
is
two
two.
maps.
They
So
are
you can
ready
pick
and
the
waiting,
side
already
defense.
having that information.
That's a reverse
Will get
key,
them
okay.
one, and Neki with the kill
It's
leaves
something like
just
you want that.
Crostali. Very nice start, but finding that second, impossible. 4-1.
You're gonna know who wins the
lead
round so
extended.
easily, because
Eternal
all they do
Fire
is
getting
scream.
further and further ahead.
How do I look for?
Yeah, a blazing strong start from them, considering the fact that, again, we saw
Make sure I
them
still
look
have a
shaky
shirt.
in round 2 and 3. It dominated in
Yeah, I'm
round
so
3,
happy
although they
Global
only had
Esports
those pistols.
in full
Down
sense are
to
going to London.
round 2.
Like, is London not stacked, Brad? Is
Now
London not
finding
stacked?
that rhythm, going for this early aggression with Izzy swapping his position after the first kill round to Art. And again, we talk about the aggression. Echo goes out for more. And it's a bad thing because he gets traded. What do? They do it again. They send 2 more players out to take the fights. And that's where Eternal Fire, especially because first was the Phoenix ult, then the op to post on the line after. It's tempered aggression. They're not just holding W from the second the round goes, from the second they get contact. And they throw themselves into the mix at such awkward moments. It makes it really difficult for Foot to do anything. Now on the site, a lot of presence taken, but that
nice.
got another foothold.
He dinks someone?
This is a 5-ult round. A lot of potential, even with the weaker weapons, and with Sociable already trading another. This has gone from a point of not much opportunity to a point of stealing
they're just
around
investing
away.
everything.
That overdrive already doing more than its fair share. And now with Zeus having his ultimate online, it's just whether he wants to use it. A little bit labored, but once again, it's the Sociable show. A Thrifty, and already they will get themselves a second.
A big round for Foot to find after that little bit of a lull in the action. Right back onto the horse, and most importantly, Lead putting the pressure onto the economy of Eternal Fire. We'll see what they get up to when we get back into the game, but I'm seeing right now a crazy mixed bag of a buy from them.
Let's go!
And it's really drawn my eye, Tom. I gotta be honest, it's not what I expected to see. 4-2 in the lead. There's been some shakier rounds. There's been some opportunities for Foot, and they just come in with an all-in play. A pistol, a judge, alongside the rifles, but that op on Izzy, we've already seen it have so much impact. Denied that opening shot, though.
And aggressive position. Prowler used to clear. They've realized how much they've lost in terms of map control. Things are scary, though. Look at how much Fabian has already taken. The pop flash, perfect! But there's 3 players around the corner, and oh, does his timing couldn't be worse. It knows they're there eventually. Okay, we see Sop stop. That's the main thing. If he walked any further, he would have been dead to the judge. And now they've lost full control.
And that risk not paying off. A Sheriff, the one to find the first blood for that squad, and it doesn't last long. Izzy left with the op on the other side of the map. And yeah, that is a real big gamble taken by the squad that was in the lead, and now it's going to come back to haunt them. Foot's chance to basically equalize the scoreline. And sure, the op is going to be saved, but what is it going to be alongside in the next round? We're not going to force buy up around it, surely.
Is it going to be saved?
Well, that's the other question.
Ooh, I don't think it is! Timing couldn't be any worse. And Sociable, this is something we've talked about a lot. I don't think that he somehow micro-called the timing there to get it perfectly, but he does seem to be incredible when it comes to that timing, that spacing, like the wraparound behind while his teammates took full control through middle. You see that judge perfectly placed, if not for his backstab. And even though some of the games last year where we watched him on this map, he was playing chamber and aggressively killing people with a Marshall, it seems like he can still do it while on Astra.
Sociable's been very impressive. I think on this map in particular, they only played it, what, once through the regular season against mates. But as Astra, just as strong then as we're seeing in these formative rounds. Sociable's being left unchecked!
How? His aim's fantastic.
He's full blind for like a good 10 seconds. Oh no! The aggression from Echo's worked! We talk about going for the second bite of the cherry and sometimes it being a problem. This is the other side of it. This man takes uncharacteristic risks. Yenergy looks to try and turn, and it's not going to be enough. Another Thrifty round, and this is as manic as I expected it to be.
Another Omoda Thrifty coming through, and the reality of that one, Tom, it's a head scratcher. I have to see that one in the replays. Like,
which bit?
Every part of it.
Which bit?
Top to bottom. They flash him, a reveal pops, and he just stands there spraying away, and yet, even though the round looks lost, that re-aggression from Eternal Fire, we talked about it. In this case, calculated, because you hear it. The shot's firing out of the Classic. He goes, he's out of ammo now. Swings through and takes his head off. A second for Echo, and the same aggressive stance that we've seen cost Eternal Fire some early fights, some advantages. It more often than not raises its head for a round win by just catching your opponents off guard. This squad, they are the ankle breakers within Valorant, and Foot are paying the price for it.
Well, we're back to a 4-buy. Uncharacteristic in the manner in which we got there. Of course, the divide has gone down, but they haven't managed to take any space.
Why destroyed?
Crossed Alley's ult is available, but it's the flash. Never mind. Another full blind kill coming out from Echo. But I think that was just a pre-fire through the smoke. I don't know if there was a gap in maybe the switch of smokes. No, that one's only just fading away. So I think Sok just got a little bit lucky. Now the other Cosmic Divide goes down, and they're still stuck behind it.
30 seconds left.
Echo wasn't seen by the ult, but they should know there could be a gap, but sneaking his way on top of the boxes worth so much for Eternal Fire. Money on the board for Foot, and it falls
They're not even that broke.
flat as a result of this man yet again. Echo winning them the previous with the Sheriff, and now a thorn in their side, and the wound proving deadly. 6 locked in for the defensive side, and sure, Sociable will find himself a kill here.
For the confidence.
And they're going to keep going. The ace will be found in the end by Echo. And a 6th alongside it. That is remarkable stuff. And that's got to put the wind fully in the sails of Eternal Fire.
It's funny because the rest of his team are not doing that well on credits. So him going down there might have been silly, but you know that that extra kill was worth its weight in gold. The extra confidence, the wave to sit down. And what this man is able to do, like he genuinely is sort of the kid that you go, if you keep doing that, you're going to bang your head on the table. And sometimes he does, and then the next round, like, it looks like he can fly. Like, it genuinely is incredible what he can do. And it's no real surprise that from Foot side, you get aced, you go, okay, let's take a moment.
Yeah, I think looking at how things have gone for Echo so far especially, and here it is, you know, you look at some of the comparisons, your stage 1 stats on Viper across the board here. Echo's obviously been a staple when it comes to that Viper play. The man plays outside of his pit more often than in it, and for some reason, it works. But he's doing it here on the Cypher as well. He's shown us that he's got depth. It's just not a one-trick pony by any stretch of the imagination. And when we think about this team, like you said, you know, we've seen Audaz be there, but Izzy especially, this day and age, on that Neon. That was his first ace in VCT Emea as well. I'm sure that makes it worth so much more for it to happen up against Foot as well.
Yeah, what's on the line as well? For a youngster that was only able to come into this stage. He was still on the roster at kickoff, but just wasn't old enough to play. The other youngster that wasn't able to play for Ulf is now sat across the stage from him, making his debut in VCT Emea on Foot. And now one of them will guaranteed make it. And okay, talk about the timing of Sociable. This time, it doesn't go his way. The aggressive flash through, taking back the space, forcing them into Izzy, but he does miss a shot. A potential backstab. Sok getting even further forward.
He lagged him too.
And there's a multitude of kills within a second. It puts things down to just one. Echo again. An ace in the last round. This time, he needs a 1v3.
Sickening stuff too. Izzy got hit by the stun, still managed to land what I assume was hip fire on the op, but because Sop jumped, it was into his legs. That was the difference maker. Echo, another big play needed, and 2 lined up, but 1 very low. If he can get Sop, the second might find its way into his hands, but no. The round goes to the numbers of Foot. 6-4 now, a 2-round gap. And 2 rounds left to play for in this half. It's anyone's game.
Genuinely, at times, it does feel like, well, an overstimulated game of deathmatch. Like, we are just watching these teams run around with everything being thrown in, and whoever just hits the shots the best is the one to win. 6-4.
They are mine.
Ultimates and cash expended. This is the thing for Eternal Fire. They're not really able to keep those credits up, but then we've seen both teams somehow win with low buys. I feel silly to doubt them at this stage.
We saw Foot almost win with Classics too. And a few Sheriffs. There's no telling what's coming next in this one, but
flip a coin.
Very, very patient display from Foot to start. Breaking that Prowler in a main, but then stacking up, holding every angle, waiting for a peek, waiting for someone to put a foot in the wrong direction and give them an opening. The Molly doesn't force the fight the way they wanted it. Flash, though, is perfect. Fabian somehow stands his ground, though. A double.
What a
slides in for more, but Sop with a double of his own has pulled us right back into favor for Foot. In a game of what happens next, you're guaranteed to lose in this one. 3 versus 2. A pistol for Audaz on the retake. Surely, we're looking at 6-5.
He's found himself a rifle, but timing is going to... Oh,
that was disgusting.
Perfect. No! Sociable's whiff! And now the shots through the smoke as well! Keep flipping those coins! Every kill, it could go either way! Leaving Sob to try and clutch it out, and he can't quite manage it! Ordaz!
Speak your shit, Ordaz!
And what he said that maybe he didn't have anything against Sob. I want you to see his reaction when he won that clutch.
Yeah, it's telling a different story down on that stage. The whole body language.
Shit, man. I couldn't give a shit who wins. This is funny as fudge.
When he won the round. Oh, how does he not get that kill? Nothing but love. That is nothing but love right there.
I do not want to see him angry.
Thank you very much
sure.
for all of the reactions. That's perfect.
Oh man, what a crazy pickup for Eternal Fire. Guaranteed the lead now at the half. And already Foot trying to respond with aggression, getting up in their face. But it's Izzy fighting back with the shorty with the off. He's playing gun game.
Holy shit, it's 8-4. They're so cooked, by the way.
Early fight, Sociable and Yedije.
It's so over. Foot are going down to the lower bracket.
Well and truly out of their hands.
They're gonna get like 10-2 on defense on a side.
And it seems like they're out of their depth in this matchup, at least in half one. 8-4 for Eternal Fire, pending no 1v5 aces from Yedije. And what a half that is to start out. Their map pick and coming in looking dominant in the first half.
It's safe to say that in the battle of aggression, thus far they have won out. But normally, it is the defensive side that if you're going to call a team over-aggressive, it is that defense. So we'll have to wait and see. They don't really need to be facing this. Of course, the time ticking away. This feels like it'll be nothing more than stat padding for Yedije. As if it wasn't hard enough, they're going to reveal exactly where he is as well. So with 30 seconds left, they could all lock in a massive firing squad, just sat waiting for him to try and round this corner. And yeah, I don't even know if it's worth going for anything here. Maybe just wanting to even keep a little bit of pride, not give them the satisfaction of killing him off. Triple spray down in 5 seconds. You ever seen it before? Because I certainly have not.
No, that would be a new one to add to the books. 8-4 at the half.
That's insane.
A solid defense coming out from Eternal Fire, but we know that Foot are not going to just give up. Not in a match like this with stakes like this on the line. It's time for the halftime break, but during it, luckily we had time to catch up on the Turkish round table during the Spike Drop podcast. Let's see what our players had to say about the playoff bracket.
Do you think that their side of the bracket is tougher than yours and yours is an easier?
Bro, what the fudge is Crew doing?
So. Our bracket is more tougher, I guess.
Why?
More Turkish. Yeah.
More Turkish, yeah, that's a good answer.
Okay, right, okay.
They can think like that, but maybe it's because of their position. Because we
can find it quite difficult. I think that Fabian is like a different gravy. Like he's so good at hitting the timings on those flashes. And also, this was the side of the map that last time out versus mates, we really saw Foot struggle on. Sure, it's a different comp. Sure, they will have put work in to adapt to that. But Eternal Fire are not going to make it easy for them.
I would be surprised and disappointed if they did. A 4-round lead. A pistol round that could set them on track to close this map out. Maybe take that crown out of the hands of Foot, moving into Ascent. Exactly where they'll want to end the series. Carries a lot of weight amongst those Turkish teams, just like this pistol carries a lot of weight for Eternal Fire. Deep play, the plant's going in.
Spike planted.
For a deep push into spawn. We've got a battle brewing on both sides, but that flash from Fabian could change absolutely everything. There goes the reveal, counter flash in play, but he's been blinded himself. They couldn't get out there for more than just the one kill, and now the crunch comes in. Sop and Cristalli able to do the damage.
It's not even.
Forward with another. Now the advantage in the hands of the defenders. Ordaz won't stand his ground, and Echo is left to make another big play.
Boom! Boom, boom. Stand the fudge up, King. Stand the fudge up.
My God. This guy is in incredible form.
That's probably
the first one should have been more difficult, but just every single shot landing.
They're shook, they're shook, they're shook.
It really seems like of all the people in the server right now, the one who wants to be winning this match, the one that wants to be heading over to London is Echo.
Oh, they're cooked, bro, they're cooked. Why is Rose on fucking EF bench? What the fudge?
Now, a very difficult road back in this one for FUT. We saw some success in low buys, and there has been a minute amount of investment here, Mitch. But I'll be honest with you, I'm feeling like Eternal Fire might have this map in the bag.
That was a collab, I'm pretty
If
sure.
Echo keeps playing like this, that's a guarantee.
Yeah. He enjoys this map as well. I think it was last time out versus Heretics, 21 and 14. A lot of the time you expect that to be through just being a site anchor, but he's not really an anchor, more of like a free-flowing... I don't know what you would call that. I don't think it exists on boats.
A boy. One of those, is he?
The boat boy, yeah?
The boat boy, that's what they call him.
Where is he going?
That was a crazy push, and I don't mean that in a good way. I'm not sure what he was thinking.
One enemy remaining.
Nice.
Getting down and dirty that deep into spawn, but although he gets punished, Eternal Fire don't. The flame is catching at 10-4. And for FUT, well, it's time to wake up. Money's about to go.
Here.
We fully invested into this one, and listen, if this falls by the wayside, Tom, I get more worried than I expected to be here today for FUT. Because coming into this series, yeah, history and so on, of even just the banner there, and with how the stage went, I think they do come in as the favorites, certainly if you lean on the experience of some of their players. But to have just 4 rounds, that's going to be terrifying for the next map, for the bounce back as it should be on Ascent, of all maps up against Eternal Fire.
Yeah, it's one where I don't think I've ever met a Turkish player who isn't comfortable on Ascent, but also it's one where you don't know what your opponent's going to be running. You can guess. I think a lot of people have been running Neon Phoenix, so I don't think it's going to be anything crazy. But dealing with them could be difficult, but well, I was going to say, what looked like a good start, but already Neki's just turned it back, and now Orders has found another. They walked up into a B site that had 3 players within it. Oh, well, they've walked out smelling the roses.
Yeah, and the fight that happens on this site makes sense. You've got 4 players pressuring through a choke point. You find the first, but they trade out in the numbers. They get posted on the angle. It is what it is. How the hell did Neki just get away with a double down long? He was alone. He was caught with a Prowler in hand, and he gets out with 2 kills. Mistakes, pardon me, like that shouldn't be happening, can't be happening for FUT at this stage. It's past crunch time.
I don't remember.
We're at do or die in this map. No signs of life for quite a while. They're teaching him how to use the mouse, leading by example. And 11-4, Eternal Fire are on the home stretch.
It's genuinely just crazy. Like, as you said, there's a lot of moments where you just feel like they're losing 1v1 fights, and that's kind of turning the round. But yeah, as you said, like it was what, a 1v2 almost for Neki. A man though that has been having just an incredible performance, and as I said, I want to go back to his performance
There's so
versus
much
Heretics
trash
as well.
in here, it's insane.
Ordaz has just, I feel like, turned up massively over the last couple of games. Like, I think he was decent within the group stage, but if I was going to pick a player that maybe was a little underwhelming in comparison to everybody else, I might have put him in there. But for Ordaz, he's just been stacked. Like, he played insane versus the Heretics that I thought would be a problem for them. And he's come into this map as well, top of the board, 16 and 10. And sure, like, it's been the moments of the likes of Echo that maybe have slightly outshone him, but he's still picking him to the post at top of the board.
We've talked a lot in the past about teams having that extra game lead up, deep seeds being an advantage or a disadvantage, and it is very team dependent. I'm sure there are teams out there that benefit from watching, you know,
Turkish teams like Momentum, you're saying?
Yes, well, that's a fact. But you imagine like someone like Team Liquid having a deep seed. I'm sure they would love to be able to look at the VODs of their opponents playing and gain a lot from that. But there's other rosters, like for example, FUT. Maybe they don't benefit from it. Maybe they need that lead up, that runway, that heat up time, because Eternal Fire have come in hot to the touch and they look untouchable.
Especially after losing your last game in groups. Like, sure, it's a wake-up call, but also you might need just like that little bit of, well, excuse the pun, extra footing. Either way, they've had to force this one up. had to put everything they've got into this round. And while that B site is already firmly under the control of their opponents, they have forgotten something, though.
Yes, they have. The spike is quite far away, but you know, no issues in terms of it getting there. There will be issues in terms of who's waiting for them.
It's going to be very confusing for Foot, just going like, wow, they're really taking their time, aren't they? They really are checking every angle, every nook and cranny. And wow, this is the problem. You could have had the spike down by now. Instead, you're having to play a little bit more aggressively. This gives an opportunity for Foot to get in a bit early. But maybe they don't come out alive. The trades again. It just seems like every member stepping up when needed. And now Crystalli is all that remains. And who else but Echo?
You know that this means a lot to both teams, but it does feel like it means that little bit more to Eternal Fire, to the young guns on the other side of the stage. They've seen the other Ascension team make it to an international. Why can't they? And now, well, they're not one round away from it, but one round away from being one step closer, from being within touching distance of an international event for a team that wasn't even thought of in the league just a couple of months ago. 8 chances to close this out, and against regional rivals of Foot. This feels like a Promethean task, and one that they're well and truly up to.
Nightfall thrown in. A lurk on 2 different fronts from the attack. Re-aggression, and while it seems like the lurk might not even be necessary, the main take has already done the work.
I think they just there's no way you can get like a good reading on a sense attack.
Even still though, maybe overdoing it. Wanted to close things out a little bit too soon. A 5v2 has quickly turned. It's now possible.
Possible, indeed, but difficult at the same time. That Gravwell buying much more time. The long wraparound from Neki, who they think is right alongside Echo. Well, now they're going to have a surprise extra angle as in comes Neki. The smoke fades, but Yedege lands the shot. They were cautious, and rightfully so.
That's definitely Eternal Fire getting a bit ahead of themselves. Sure, still a monumental lead, still 12 and 5. But that was a 5v2. That only went back in the other direction because of these players getting over-aggressive at the post line. The remaining 3, that they had to swing onto that spike eventually. I can't blame them, but it's the 2 others that get just a bit too aggressive.
And I would stand here alongside you, condemning those actions, criticizing them. If I hadn't seen those same actions...
they've worked about 8 rounds in a row.
Yeah, they've worked 90% of the time they do it. So genuinely, any other team, I'm like, y'all through, that was hard to watch. But for these guys, you played your win condition, so it's fine. Sometimes you'll lose it. But for Foot, the way back in is so steep. It's such a difficult journey.
At least it exists.
But it does exist, and they have a chance.
Never mind. It doesn't exist anymore. You know, like there was a small like 0.1% chance that just hit 0, but because Izzy has managed to hit a collat, Ordaz has got his back as well. This leaves only 2 remaining. Hey, you remember that last 5v2 where they overpushed? I would say that's not going to happen again.
Knowing these guys, I would say it would, but I see it's not. They're being patient, they're being passive, and in the end, they're being victorious.
There's no way they win on it.
13 to 5, a lesson taught down on that stage, but class is not dismissed just yet. At least one more match. And can we realistically expect Foot to come in looking like a different team? Because that's what needs to happen.
Yeah, and from the other side of things, Eternal Fire, they tasted defeat early to Fnatic. We started to question Fnatic. And then they beat BBL. They beat Vitality, Pacific, GX, Heretics. They are going through teams that we have talked about. And sure, Foot have done similar in the other group while tasting defeat at the end. Have they recovered from that defeat? Or is this going to be a whitewash for Eternal Fire? That's a pretty good start. The knife maybe just a little bit too late to find the sociable was there. Oh, this pistol round already looking incredibly different, but we've seen them let them slip before, and already one coming back the other way. Again, it starts to slip. Vlad talked about the fact that they had advantages, and they let them go. And now Echo only needs 1. But Yedege has brought it back. turning into a 1v1 scenario. Neki is desperately low. 4 bullets left to play with, but the time is on his opponent's side, and Yedaje will save them. A pistol that shouldn't have needed a Red Bull clutch, but thankfully, Yedaje will bring one home.
And you got to imagine a lot of the conversation backstage was about not giving those advantages away. It was about not having this happen again. And right off rip in round 1, we see that spark from Eternal Fire, and we see that slip from Foot. That has to change. So there is some love across the stage at least.
That was very aggressive love.
Yeah, it was. There's a little shaking going on there. But a 1-0 start for Foot. They've got the lead. Let's see how long they can hold on to it.
Yeah, they got the lead. It didn't look particularly comfortable, but I don't think they'll care too much. If anything, the clutch might have just been something worth that additional celebration. Of course, for Eternal Fire, not a whole lot to play with in this round. And it is worth noting that they did win both pistols in the previous map. So it's at least a bit of an early boost for the side of Foot.
Sure.
I think it's important that they get some of these rounds across the board comfortably, because I think that was always the case, is like with the pistols in the lower buys, even with advantages, they were letting a lot slip on Pearl, and on Ascent, they just can't allow that.
There's 5 players here, Tom. They're walking into the site where they've been spotted first in the choke point, then by the camera in wide. They should know the numbers are here. The rotates are in from Eternal Fire. The eye distracted on those players in heaven, but 2 close range kills from Zeus.
How many more?
Has delivered them from what would be disaster. They're clearing Fabian as well.
Told you.
And well, yeah, when Zeus hits 3 no-scopes like that, it works out. Who would have known?
All I'm going to say is I said no-scopes before they entered the site.
You did. You did.
It's usually where you see just like a line of blue round wins.
If you were playing that round as if you were watching it, but
to be honest, I don't think I would have been that confident if it wasn't Zeus and Stop walking in with both having a Marshal with a one-shot no-scope that they just don't seem to miss. Another confidence booster, 2-0 for Foot. Of course, 2 very different ideas with the composition. Eternal Fire with something that almost seems reminiscent of old school Ascent, what we come to expect, but with the Waylay instead of the Jet. The more aggressive side is with Foot.
I was way too old.
Zeus, I guess it doesn't matter what gun he has. If he keeps doing that, they're going to win the game.
It's only a matter of time till Echo shows up on the other side, though. It was the hero of the previous now. He's been spotted walking forward, but no one's there to catch him. His Foot fall back to the site. Retreat to the safe havens. Great reveal. Beautiful smoke.
And he's back.
And that will be the save called from Eternal Fire. Echo.
Hold it now.
His first ace of VCT in the previous map. Some big multi-kill rounds, some big clutches, but no opportunity to do the same this time around. In fact, holding onto that weapon now, looking like it could be under threat. Neki's on the other side of the map. He's gone all the way to B site. Echo is alone, and he will die that way.
Yeah, important to get rid of this additional weaponry. Make it much harder for Eternal Fire to have much of a hold. And this is one of the most important factors for Foot, is if you get Zeus firing and get that momentum building, especially on the Phoenix. This is why, even going back to the previous Ascent we saw from Team Liquid and Vitality, both running that Neon Phoenix. Because the terrifying thing always with Phoenix, always been the case, if you can start building up those multi-frags, you have those additional flashes, you get yourself that ultimate. And as a free entry into the site, it's always going to be incredibly important. And we've seen players use Jet as almost like a dive in, die, get traded. That's a freebie that you don't get on pretty much any other agent. The goal from Izzy will be something similar in the second half. But they are struggling right now with just how direct Foot are being. We are just going to push A. Deal with it.
Well, that's what we talked about with Sop and Zeus both separately. 2 players who had a lot of hype around them, and especially Zeus going into last year. It's somewhere that I think his ceiling and floor have both risen. with this roster, with this iteration of the roster.
Definitely has.
Being alongside Sop as well, like, yeah, I suppose it's actually maybe not a fair because he did have some very good games before. It just, the consistency wasn't there.
Was it kickoff or stage 1? I think he was literally like the #1 rated player of all regions, and then they didn't make it. It was just a group stage. So it's like, his ceiling could be insane, but it was so inconsistent.
Yeah, whereas like definitely feeling like he's a much better piece of the puzzle.
100%.
In terms of how he's fitting in here, and I think having someone competent like Sop alongside you, having a change in metas as where now double duelist is just par for the course. Little jumping game from Echo there. Just to get his cage back, and it's deep aggression outside of B where they want this fight. But after Izzy sent back to cancel the fight in the rest of the map, and in fact Izzy won't even make it out of there. Cleanup crew in full effect in mid for Foot, and Echo's even being spotted here. Good night to you.
Yeah, this is just smart stuff coming out from the side of Foot. I don't mind the idea, like using the dart as a distraction to try and allow Izzy to make a play, but there was too many players around that angle to ever really fall for that trap.
One enemy remaining.
Well, now Ordaz is all that remains.
Is it just attack sudden now? Like, what is this shit?
The economy of Foot really starting to build up to a point of almost no return, and we're only 4 rounds in.
Yeah, well, I said coming into this map, it felt like it had to be a completely different team that we saw stepping onto that stage. They found 5 rounds in the entirety of Pearl, and it wasn't a top-down issue. It wasn't that they were, falling from the very first barrier up. No hurdles cleared. In fact, sometimes it felt like all hurdles were behind them. It was a clean stretch to the finish line, and they'd somehow still trip over themselves on the side of Foot. Yet now, clean at least in the first 4, and the trades are spectacular. A chance for Neki to catch them off guard. They clear him, but he still finds a double and makes it out alive.
Oh, he's done incredibly well. He was tagged low by the first guy. Maybe a little bit audacious, though. He wanted more. He wanted his cake, wanted to eat it too. Well, now, he is feeling maybe a tad foolish. Izzy still trying to clear everything on the other side of the map. Obviously wary of where Yetaje was, that lurker that could be anywhere, hiding in the darkness. Instead, he's just sat alongside his teammate on the A site. And now the operator becomes a retake tool that, I'll be honest, nobody really wants.
Yeah, it's definitely not the best weapon for this. And in fact, I'm surprised to see him even going for it at this stage. Again, what are you going to do with this and just this, but in the next round, But what are you going to do with it here? 1v2, time on their side. They're split up. They're not giving the fights. It's time to go. And that's exactly what Izzy does. Just gets out of here. Looks like his timing is okay to make it. Oh, no, to make it across mid. Not deep like that, though. Gave Sociable a chance. Luckily, the shot isn't landed. But a 5-0 start, nonetheless, for Foot. A lights-out performance kicking off Ascent. And while we had questions about picking it, if it was a good idea, and whilst there's still so many more rounds to be played, for now, at least, it's looking like they made the right call.
Oh, it must have been going insane in Prax. Because
I guess
even if
it's
something
just
goes well in Prax, when you go like, okay, our opponent's probably going to pick a map that we don't particularly enjoy, no matter what we ban.
It's been almost a year since we played Ascent as well.
Yeah, we've not played it for ages because we haven't literally been able to. And then you must have just been literally railing everybody in Prax to just go, yep, we're going to pick it anyway.
Pull it out.
And hey, it's looking fantastic. For the other side of things, it is a mixed bag buy. Few ultimates to play with is the major danger. But of course, there's also ults on the other side for Foot. They've won these last few rounds so cleanly, they haven't needed to use any.
Neki's getting curious. And whose patience will pay off first? It is his, but the trade is all that he finds. 2 players inside B main, or A main, sorry. But they're making their way towards the smoke. Waiting right outside at Sociable. Conscious at the walkthrough, but the trade is good again. Eternal Fire making this round look winnable, look doable, and Sop's in trouble. His ult's being cancelled. He goes out knife in hand, unaware of the player up close, and yet still, Foot come out smelling of roses. Izzy in the same position as before. A 1v2, an up in hand, and the first shot doesn't land. 6-0. It's a clean card for Foot. And Eternal Fire, where did they go? This team was so dominant in that first map.
Sociable's a maniac. Bro, why are you solo hiding in a smoke with the spike? Like, there was no one even close to him to help him out if that went wrong. Like, it's mental, but hey, I guess when the rest of the players are playing this hot, it really doesn't matter that much, but that was terrifying. And I also want to say, I think it was Fabian's knife that just takes away the ult. Brilliant. Like, a little bit of genius in the moment, unfortunately. Just didn't have the weaponry to get that one over the line. Still, 4 ultimates to play with. An immediate usage of that Hunter's Fury. The only thing it's caught so far is the ult, but the TP across was found on the other side.
Zeus's ult sent right back to main as Sop falls. Zeus comes out of main and out of the round, and now, I'm not sure how he's gotten away with that one. Why didn't Neki have his knife out? But okay, Crystalli's last alive. Not even a chance to plant this spike, but he might be able to bait them into a fight. That's what he looks for now with a minute on the clock. But stepping into the off,
nice.
It's a surefire way to send the round to Eternal Fire. Their first found at last.
Yeah, other than the knife in hand walking past a player that I'm pretty sure was revealed. Like,
yeah, I think they knew he was there.
I'm fairly certain, yeah, here. So he definitely, look, you can literally see him being pinged. They know exactly where he is. But I guess he didn't expect to just walk through the smoke.
I just watched this player cam in that replay. He literally starts screaming the second he died, like, what, he's in main? I don't know how he could be caught off guard by that. But
he is the guy that, at least in the early rounds, has been doing fantastically well. Definitely overheats quite a bit, but they've needed someone to try and turn this back. A mid-fight, an operator is on the other side as well. That is quite a comfortable gap,
nice.
I would say, for Izzy to play around. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I would assume Echo through that cage if I didn't know any better. A bit of a mistake. And a painful, costly one now for Foot. I mean, here's the problem. Maybe a benefit. Trapped in the corner was Yedege. He gets the jump on Izzy. Trains that right back to a 4v4 and gets the ult off of the back of it. It's a lot to work with for this side. And, well, Fabian somehow gets one, gets out, tucks in the corner. He's got backup now as well. And that spike is all alone, even as he runs through. There's players all around him. Yedege helps, clears up the spawn, but Crystalli landing that double has breathed life back into this round. They heard the TP. They don't know if he's faked it, but they will in a moment. Never mind. Cam not seeing him either. This is perfect. Audaz has flown completely under the radar. No! At the worst possible moment. He has made noise, and it has come back to bite him now.
They need to kill him.
Surrounding him.
There we go.
Finally dealing with him. What a play by Audaz.
Oh, that's so unfortunate.
It's a little too itchy on the trigger finger.
The worst thing is as well, if he doesn't shoot, I doubt they clear him. Like, because it's such a weird spot for not to shoot. But you can't blame him. He played that so fantastically well. I'll say as well, 2 big moments in this round coming out from just players on timing. Yedege, after he uses his ult, realizes there's nobody around mid. He can take the space, grabs the orb, holds rotations. Very clever. Then you have Crystalli, who gets a pick, his teammate gets killed, sees the flash and goes, okay, if I duck into this smoke, I have a timing. Because they're not going to expect me to have pushed this without sprinting and making loads of noise. That's where he catches the rotation onto Neki, and that's where they're able to run back to the other side of the map. Just 2 moments of individual timing that works out wonderfully for Foot. And that's been the difference. Like, Yedege is having a great map. I think the same for Crystalli, just in big moments, he's been performing very well. And there has not been a weak link thus far, whereas other than, I'd say, a couple of moments from Neki, all the flair from the last map is completely gone from Eternal Fire.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah, I mean, they've called, again, both timeouts burned by this squad in the first 8 rounds of play, or coming out of the first 8. It's never a good sign. And the fact that they've found 1 round and Foot immediately go back to dominance, it's difficult. We see this happen a lot where from map to map, the baton changes hands completely, and now it's the other team dictating the pace. Again, map 1, it felt like Foot were offline. The mistakes they were making went deeper than just the map that they were playing. But as we also said, them coming in here cold and Eternal Fire being warmed up from yesterday's game, maybe it played a role. And now we're seeing Foot, when they've got that little bit of heat to back them up, They've shaken off the stiffness of that first map. They certainly are looking like the better squad in the first 8 rounds. The second timeout used, now it's Eternal Fire's chance to show us that map 1 flair again.
Yeah, at best, they're still losing the half, but they're in a much better position than they would be if it keeps up to regular programming. 3, maybe even 4 players going to be on this side of the map. There goes the Hunter's Fury, and already Sociable's caught another. You would not think this was a stack. Only player getting a kill is Izzy. And while for Foot, they have done an excellent job of cleaning up. Sure, the remaining 2 have managed to get here, but still smokes available for the cross.
It's map 3 now.
Unless Echo can pull off another hero play, which he cannot.
They're smart as well. They just waited it out. Reveal was put in towards A main there a couple seconds ago. And as soon as the smoke came back online for Sociable, they made the move, conscious that Izzy could find a gap, find another shot, and make it a 2v3 at the time. Instead, the man with 20 HP and the big gun for Eternal Fire is left fleeing the site again. They will have to carry that forward to the next round for any hope of impact.
Well, this round for me is way more worrying than a lot of the others. Just because of the manner in which they lost it. Like, you had the right read, you had 4 players on the right side of the map, and 3 of them are dead before you even get your first kill. Like, it was only the cross after they'd already basically won the round. And don't get me wrong, Hunter's Fury, high impact goal. There's the expectation that that can do a lot of damage, but they just got destroyed.
Yeah, I mean, it's especially the A side where it can do a lot of damage because you can essentially boil it down to 3 or 4 different lane ways that you want to hit with that pulse, depending on whether you care about guarding that much or not. So forcing them out of position, you had the nade, I think, that forced Fabian out, and Sop just gets 2 fights on players that, you know, the second one is obviously being pushed out by the Hunter's Fury, but the first one is coming in to help.
It's a great execute, but it looked very easy. Like, it looked like basically if you were doing a training scenario where you go, we have a perfect execute versus X amount of players.
We're going to dry run this.
Maybe you're against your like academy team and you go, could you just guys stand here? We want to see how this works. That's what just happened.
Yeah, exactly. It looked like it. An execution, most certainly. Deep play by Izzy. He's going further, wants to use that refract, but won't find a kill for the convert. Drone going up on mid as well, but Foot have left a player behind. I do feel like they're just putting the pressure on here, trying to force a rotation or find Sociable that late space. We talked about it in the last map where, albeit Foot didn't really deliver much, but that previously he'd been finding so much on the attack side with those late lurks. Maybe he'll need to do that again. Trades early in B main, and they do go the way of Foot, but
they know this is a stack. Like they literally at this point,
look at the space.
They have seen pretty much every single piece of utility of the players that are left. So they know that they've killed 2. There's still another couple, and eventually now they're gonna go, okay, maybe we stop fighting the stack and go back in the other direction. Echo is there though, and he has been dangerous, at least on the last map. Bit of a mistake coming out. No way! How's he got 3 from there? Of all the rounds that he could steal, this should not have been the one. But mistakes made by the side of Foot, and Eternal Fire gifted around.
They played that so well up until the final confrontation.
Spike down mid.
I don't know what that was. No, there's a paranoia to work with that goes in after he finds a pick. They're swinging before the utility. And then that TP, absolutely criminal.
Wait, yeah, it was his paranoia, right?
I swear to God.
So he's thrown it and TP'd into it.
Why do we play like this?
Why do they play like the air, you know? I could see it. 8-2 up though, you know, Bambino. Take the positive. And there you go, right back on the horse. Echo, hero of the last round, already dead. And just right back like nothing happened.
Yeah, unlucky from Fabian.
Maybe it knocked their confidence.
There was an assist there from the Sova and the Omen, but which one threw the flash? I'm not sure. I think it was Fabian. Unlucky, lining himself up. We end up in a 3 versus 4 now with a plant down. You know, op in play, there are credits. Sometimes these rounds you'd see a save call, but there's not much more to save for. 2 rounds to play for, this being one of them. But the time is against them. The numbers are as the trades keep on going in. Leaving Foot with that even position to play from. Audas though, doubling, tripling up, has brought the round right back for Eternal Fire. That felt like we were waiting for the inevitable ending. But Foot they've lost against the numbers again.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the time it's just them losing to themselves. Like a lot of very open and aggressive post-plant positions where
he can't do this, man.
I would probably hit the table harder. That's a 3 versus. That's a 3 versus 2, where the entire series, we've said the issue for Foot is they get the advantages, they throw them away, they overpeak. The coaches said it coming out the last map. I bet they said it to them, and then you watch that happen. That's got to be frustrating. And the scoreline is not damning for them. It's not like they need every single round, but there comes a point where you are just giving too many opportunities to the opponent, and it very well will probably come back to bite you. At least in some games. Whether this is one or not, we don't know, but I would never count Eternal Fire out.
No. And again, every round that you let slip is a confidence builder for them. They've not looked comfortable on this map so far, but once more, the execution has been sublime. Once more, Zeus is going to get you that opener, and there are the trades. And this one can't slip, because we've already seen it. 2 rounds in a row. It could have easily been an 11-1 half. Instead, they're looking for that 9-3. Zeus still back in main. The rest of the players sat within the site. Utility removed for now, and so is Zeus.
Nice fight.
Even wary that there could have been a second player. But the remaining 4 all sat together. They're going to know this. All waiting. Nice work from Echo. Another round that's starting to slip away as Izzy gets one more, but eventually they are there to close. Not
it's probably map 3, right?
Close out their dominant.
Unless it just becomes magically attack-sided.
9-3 scoreline, night and day compared to what we saw. Probably well. Let me write it down. All right.
Where's Steam?
9 rounds for Foot, and it's looking like a 3rd map on the horizon. Honestly, I think we're.
Yo, okay, I'm actually gonna crash out. Why is Discord just opening?
In and of itself, the weight
how badly
that this
do they
map
leak?
carried for Turkish players and certainly Turkish teams for so long. The pistol with a start.
Someone's streaming baseball 9.
To the map.
Yo, I opened Steam, second monitor. Open Spotify, for some reason Spotify's open, second monitor. Click on Discord. What I just clicked now.
Oh my goodness.
Bam! Right here.
Social boy, like the paranoia was great, but can he do anything more? Second layer to it. Zeus now goes in! That's why you got him on the team. You might blind them up, but he'll be the one to knock him down. It leaves the spike in no man's land. Echo now has to leave, has to go back in the other direction. The thing is, though, that Zeus is pretty isolated, and with the cam spotting him out, they now know exactly where he is. A chance to heal himself up a little bit, but that shouldn't help him versus the pistol of Echo. The Ghost will do the damage to the head. And now a ring around the Rosie. The defenders look to come in from behind, but they have been caught, and that trip...
Brother, it is not yet.
Sopper's caught him before he can cross, and he will take Ordaz as well. Both pistols, just like the last map, but this time, it's to Foot.
Yeah, and
map
you
3
can
is
see
crazy
that
now.
the dominance follows in terms of the scoreline. 10-3 with both pistols. We always say that it's difficult to lose a map when you have that much of a leg up. You got to do something pretty wrong when it comes to rifle rounds. And with it being so strongly in favor of Foot already, it really does feel like the beginning of the end for this map. Split as a 3rd?
It's the best 3rd map. It's the best map, but it's definitely the best 3rd map.
It's not the best map, but I'll give you top 2 at least. Give Bind some damn respect, but what a way to end out on this series. And I believe that's where we're heading. 11 should be on the board as Eternal Fire have classics to play with already. A man disadvantage in the workings. And in rounds like this, it is very much about gathering intel. How are they playing? Where are they setting up? Well, you're about to find out where the judge is.
GG.
That is ridiculous. And he goes for more. Of course he goes for more.
I like how Echo spam in the body with the classic. It's like, bro, I'll be honest with you, you didn't come out on top there. He has managed to full 180 spin. He's managed to catch a few people with the cams. Ooh, that's not the prettiest, but the shot might do the damage, no? Now they should know he has a judge, and yeah, from there, no chance. It's only the one dropped, and the judge will even be delivered. 11-3. Foot 2 rounds away
what
from
the
map.
fuck is happening?
I love this as well. The fact that he looks at the first player and goes, hold on a sec. Okay, back to you.
Yeah.
I ain't got time for you right now. I gotta like Fabian.
Put him on hold.
Yeah.
One
I'll
second.
deal with you in a second.
I have another call.
Well, 11 on the board for Foot. A big round. They're talking to each other across the stage. That's hilarious. Well, 2 more needed, and we're going all the way to map number 3 in relatively dominant fashion for both teams and each of their map picks.
Ooh, oh, this is uncomfortable for Echo. He's taken out by Stop of the Judge again. A Judge is going to bring them nightmares if this ends up slipping away from them. For Izzy, the stun, there are 3 people around this corner. Now they knew this.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, there is opportunities, but somehow Cristelli walks away.
He's very lucky to get out of there. The heal already making it up to 100 for Zeus, mitigating a lot of that early damage. The walk up, this is dangerous. Neki doesn't know that it's being watched from up top. Oh, it's going to be such an easy kill for Yedige. He's even slipping his way towards the window, letting his opponent think that the space is given for free, but there's a fight brewing that Neki wasn't ready for, wasn't aware of. 12 rounds, that's where Foot will be, the home stretch. If they win this, Eternal Fire still on the starting mark.
Oh, they don't check.
This is another massive problem. Sociable in with another. Now they're surrounded. Those players on site have nowhere to go. And this is the problem if you want to take the Turkish crown. It won't simply be handed over. You've got to earn it. And Foot making them pay a heavy price.
Yeah, the battle on their map choice was a dominant one. But then you go to the hometown of Foot, seemingly one that we weren't quite aware of yet. A secret bunker that wasn't even available until this week. And what it's safe to say, that extra day or so of practice is clearly not gonna miss. And with this being around where they had a Ghost, they had SMGs, they had a Judge, let's say I'm not believing in the 9-round comeback. In other words, I'm not insane.
Yeah, I'm not gonna call you crazy for that take, Tom.
No.
I think I might actually, for a rare occasion, I might be in the same boat as you.
Okay.
Careful now. Here we go. But I'm not a foot doubter like you. Big flash coming in from Zeus. He'll be shut down. Izzy in with the double. And now it seems like Eternal Fire have finally found that flame on this map. Early success. Sociable brings it back, but it's a 1v3 as he falls.
Ooh.
Looks like it's not over just yet. Here on Ascent. At least another round.
Spike planted.
Not guaranteed, but certainly looking likely.
Yeah, there's a couple of low players. Economy-wise, a little bit shaky, but with the amount of rounds they have to play with, they might just want to go for this. They're lined up perfectly, though. And Izzy, what a round from him. It looked like the setup from Foot initially was fantastic. A molly into the corner, initial aggression to try and shut those players in A-main down, but it was all Izzy. You could see the amount of pressure that he is under. He's completely blind and just spraying into the abyss. Was low from the initial fight and then comes out with 4 kill. 12-4. Bit of frustration from Zeus. You've got lots of rounds to play with. And another buy coming right up.
What you got to remember as well, at this stage, it's really not about winning the map in these players' heads. They know what they're facing. They've seen these scorelines many times. It's rare to come back into it. It's about confidence. It's about building up that we could have done it. Attitude for the next.
Oh my God.
Every fight. You feel the weight of the blade digging deep into Eternal Fire.
When we won, bang.
Stands alone. They'll finish it. The leader of Foot with the
last one.
Clutch.
Last map,
And anything they can do, Foot can do better. A 13-4 in response to the 13-5. A third map needed and deserved.
Mirror
But they're
comps.
starting on the other side. They're starting on the attack. They get
No,
to
the
set the
sky
pace,
for
and on
fade.
Ascent, that's where they really flew.
Well, setting the pace indeed. Our Foot already onto the B site. And as the neon wall goes down, they realize that nobody is here waiting for them. They're the first to arrive at the party, but still bringing the noise up close. Sociable tagged up by his teammate's nade, but they don't expect him to be tucked in this corner. Able to find a couple here, our Foot, but the pressure's still on. As Eternal Fire with Fabian on 1 HP, get another nade. It's sent out with Sup wrapping around Fabian, landing his third, but it's Sup to close it out up top. A 1-0 start for Foot, and a chaotic pistol round, a sign of what's to come.
Genuinely, I think our observers have got to be having an absolute nightmare this game, because it is just, it's not even just one player popping off, it is just a back and forth of just mania consistently going on throughout the round. An all-out brawl segmented into the realm of the B-side.
Close one.
And you can see, I think that even the coaching staff of Foot know how integral that pistol round could be. The pistols have defined the victor. Oh, what a chance. Maybe to just clean up. Again, they're doing well.
There always is a bit of a fight out of Eternal Fire, even when they're on these lower weapons, but that early success is very quickly slipped away. 3-player death ball from the remaining Foot players that will be sight.
He hasn't picked up that judge. He has bought that judge.
I'm out of here.
It's not ideal now. If he has to play retake, it's pretty much useless. And if they walk into him the way they seem to be through the spawn,
if he's even going to look that way.
Pretty much useless, yeah. Well.
Oh, okay. Spidey senses. Even still, this is not the angle that you want to judge. Unless Yedege completely misses him, which he does not. And now knowing that he has a judge, probably quite confused as to why he does have a judge, they can just avoid him.
It's the right decision, considering the alternative is to run it down at the judge, which certainly wouldn't be favorable. Izzy, last one alive, the chance to do damage not looking very likely. He's now tagged to 6 HP, and Yedege will very quickly deal with him. A nice second round from Foot. A few dangers, most certainly, but that's to be expected in this matchup.
I'm going to assume that the plan from Echo is that he's just buying the judge. Like, he has no plan to go in for a rifle right now, so you can buy a judge, die, go into the next round, and buy another judge. The only thing I don't like about it is it's going to mean he can't afford his snake bite, which is going to make that judge so much more impactful with just being able to get the kills from range. So there's still a piece or two missing. He's also going to have light shields, which versus his opponent's weaponry could be a problem. And well, it's not a problem for Fabian, because Sop's already dead.
That judge still drawing breath. Another danger that Foot run right into. Although the trade out is found.
Worth it.
The number's not in their favor. Neki has to be crossed to make it towards this B site, but it seems like Foot are all in on it.
Good seize.
And it's a hell of a shot from Neki. The seize landed, but the shot through the smoke is another layer to it. Cristalli alone. Spike in hand at least, but a minute on the clock. He can take it where he wants. It's always the upside. Wrap all the way to A, but a plant in the open. Lucky to get away with it.
Yeah, he's
but how much can he get? They're wrapping around from behind. They're taking their time. And it does feel like, I'll say this, Tom, when the advantages are found by Foot, we've seen this over the last 2 maps, there's a lot of moments where that at least one more player is like,
the big one,
it's my moment. I'm going to take the shot. I'm going to take this risk. And for Eternal Fire, a team that we have talked about a lot as being also that aggressive squad, and a lot of people out there talk about it as being brainlessly aggressive even, which I would contest. They're not doing that. They're in 3v1s here, and they're playing the numbers. And it feels like more often than Foot.
I'll give you that. I do think on the last map when things were going badly, like Neki being like, I got 2, I need to run back through a smoke for a 3rd. Like, there are definitely moments where both teams are doing it, but I do agree. Like, that map 1 from Foot was a travesty. Like, that was Game of Throws. But we'll have to see after the last map confidence if that's going to build into something special. Ultimate already online for Fabian. That showstopper built up early. And they have 4 players towards this B side of the map and look to go back to contest middle. That showstopper, if used correctly, could be deadly, but they have missed the timing. Back into the sewers they go.
In fact, it's essentially just a Viper orb going up that stops Foot from pressing forward. But they go down into sewers, they wait a moment, allow aggression to come in if Eternal Fire want to take that risk, and now they'll go back towards this B side. A complete fake being sold on A, the Seekers. Even getting the showstopper out on the other side, it's dodged too! Fabian eventually finishes his dinner, but all the while, the ruse has worked. The B side is wide open.
Yeah, even still though, I don't think they'll mind too much. A 5v4 retake for Eternal Fire, it's not too much of a detriment. Okay, maybe there was a showstopper or a Viper's Pit or something that could slow them down. Yeah, maybe that would be a problem. But at the moment, it seems like the ball is in the court of Eternal Fire, and it definitely is now.
I think that might have just been a spam. Great read, great timing. Pressuring a player back towards main. Now Yedege pretty much out of the round. And as he tries to step back in, Echo's waiting for him. Crystalli in the same boat.
Hold up, we got a series.
We got a series. Picking up a three-piece. An Eternal Fire equalizing the score as a result.
Yeah, I don't mind the idea, but again, you have to have something in those post plants. And the second they lose a second player, it almost feels done. The idea of the fake is decent, but the post plant just not strong enough. And Eternal Fire make that look incredibly comfortable. 2-2. Economy completely in the bin as well for Foot. It's a hero rifle for Zeus and the rest just holding on to what they've got. Now bear in mind, Zeus is 2 off a showstopper, Sop also 2, away from that overdrive. But I'm more looking at the sniper of Izzy. A real opportunity for him to farm. He's just on the wrong side of the map.
The nade is good. Forced Aldi's back for a moment. I thought they'd follow up on it. And so did EF for a moment as well. You can see the rotation of Neki making his way back towards this A site for Foot. Crossing in mid, it's essential in this round. They were to get back to A if they were to challenge for that control, but straight into an outlaw, they lose one. Fabian's deep push catches Yedege, and now Foot know they're boxed in. They haven't got any space in B main, denied the control on mid by that orb, and lost all control over A main. Even Sewer's now a massive problem for them.
Go, go, go!
Ready now.
And then they're gifted a kill. They're gifted a way back in. Izzy's just made a big mistake.
Echo's low, timing is going to be huge. That's now Sop with a rifle and Ultima online. We talk about the mistakes of one side, well, we're witnessing the mistakes of the other, but that's a bigger problem. That's a spike down. All the opportunity in this round may have just faded in the blink of an eye. A wraparound from Sop. Needs to hit a shot, needs to give some space, and it's not going to be happening. Echo even on low HP. It's a double up of triples. Another to add to the collection. And what got dangerous for the moment is still going to be Eternal Fire's round.
Now, like I said, when they have the advantages, it feels like less of the time they're giving them away. But this is another example of people getting very eager. And we don't see it in the replay there, but Izzy, I'm pretty sure they were 5v3, and he just swung out jump peek in mid after the orb goes down. Again, granted, it was a good shot to hit by Sop.
Yeah, for sure. He is someone that, I think, again, like coming into this stage, his debut, obviously was expected to be with Eternal Fire, was expected to be with the Eternal Fire group, but now has moved over to Foot. And looking at those first blood percentages, I think it also sings true to how good Zeus has been. At times on Foot in the past, he was expected to go in, pretty much die and be sacrificed to whatever team they were up against. Instead, Sop has taken that mantle, giving him a lot more space to thrive. And you could just see the difference from stage 1, where even players like Crystalli, I think, were desperately struggling. Now you're setting up someone like Sop, who is not afraid to go in and die, is not afraid to risk it for that space. And it's made this Foot team look incredibly devastating. On the other side, though, the same can be said for Izzy. The amount of space that he makes for Fabian, and then Fabian, no matter the role, like we've seen him play Breach, Raze, we've seen him on the last map play KO, Phoenix, now on that Raze. He really is a superstar, and so far in this map, it has been him and Echo that have been thriving.
Yeah, Echo's just been consistent all series, it feels like, as well. Even when he was having a couple quiet rounds, he'd step up to win them a really important one.
With straight BS.
yeah. From the get-go. That's to be expected. I'm back on the Viper with the Viper's Pit online. Get ready for more straight BS coming your way. Foot, coming into round 6. A timeout's being called. They come in, rifles by their side, ults in their back pocket. Especially that showstopper on Zeus. We saw it burned up early by Fabian. He's now just 2 away from having it again. But that Viper's pit could be the target.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, I wonder if the pit's not down in mid because it makes the Viper too much of an easy target. But then he's used it in heaven. Now, it does make things a little bit harder to pinpoint exactly where he is. He could be up close, he could be further back. It could even be sitting on the edge of the rope and just fade away if needed. But I was wondering if they'd maybe pressure it with the showstopper. For now, at least, just clearing out the vents.
The thing is, you don't have a fade, and there's no Skydog to work with now as well. You can't challenge that pit. It's just not worth it. Instead, they'll go elsewhere. The A site, but numbers are here for Eternal Fire. Zeus having to wait a moment. That rocket fuse running out, and he fires onto dead air as Yedege falls in Emea. Another player
they're shooting.
Sitting down below is Audas, landing kills across the board. It's Eternal Fire shutting down this A push and leaving Sociable all alone. As he baits them out into another fight, they will not bite. Sitting back and waiting, even when the plant comes in, the advantage will be theirs, but Sociable takes the fight to Eternal Fire, isolates 2 1v1s, and hell, good try.
Okay, EF, okay, EF.
The youngsters, Eternal Fire, again, find themselves a bit of steam in the early rounds, 4-2 up.
They were ready for everything there. Like, that was genuinely just a beautiful setup. The pit to try and push them in towards the vent. When the showstopper goes off, Paranoia and Seize and Nade to make sure there's nowhere for Zeus to go. Then, when you have that clutch towards the end, they have 2 players over towards the screens, and they have a player waiting in case he TPs onto the other side of the map. They were aware that Sociable had that ultimate online. Genuinely, Eternal Fire had everything covered.
Cover going. I've seen many teams heat up within the Turkish scene, but when it comes to dethroning Foot, especially when on form, it's always difficult to do. Audas with a double. I mean, they at least traded out with the weaker weapons. It's honestly a bit of a win for Foot. The A site wide open, but it takes them a while.
Yeah, they don't know that.
Being cautious of players up in heaven, of course, but that time bleeding from the clock is going to make this much more difficult to get a plant, indeed to get post-plant positions as well, and now there's no one left to do so. The planter dropped before the spike hits the floor. The round's already over.
Yeah, again,
it's huge. It's for London, man. It's for London.
Aware of the potential, like watching towards the ropes. I feel like Eternal Fire are very good at sort of feeding each other that information, and when they're not overheating, when they're not getting over aggressive, it genuinely looks like they're in complete control of this map. Only the pistol and second round.
He kills 2! This is what I'm saying though, they always fight for this space, like they get in front of this.
the different sides of the coin. But you can understand the frustration. 5 rounds in a row, only the pistol. Second round, nothing more for Foot. Of course, looking back to prior matches for Eternal Fire, the defensive side has sort of been the be-all and end-all of this map. And a 13-11 victory over GX, 10 of those rounds were on the defense. But if they go in 10-2, Mitch, I'm not gonna lie, I think that this is done.
There has to be a change, and you're hearing it. I mean, we heard it just there in the replay from our big-time look-alike, that they're almost fighting for this space. Eternal Fire, and you can see it. It's especially towards a ramp. I think he was talking about heaven. It's somewhere that Eternal Fire are not giving up, but that means there's a battle to be fought and potentially won in that space. The problem is Audas, who was previously up top ramp, now sits at the bottom. He had Paranoia in hand, waiting for a sound cue. But now they give up on that crunch. 45 seconds left, and the pressure sits with Foot. A man down, up against the showstopper again from Fabian. That's his second one of the half so far. And when they make noise, that's when the problems should begin. Showstopper fired in right away. That safety net falling on right off rim. And it was a dead-on shot. But with 25 seconds left, Foot need to pick up the pace, and they've caught Nagy reloading.
Yeah, that was an awkward position from him. Audas is still at the back of the site, though. Echo might just be caught rotating. There's a backstab being watched by Sociable, but that spike still needs to move. There's a chance for Audas to maybe end this round alone, as they now need to get into the site. They have to kill him. They have to kill him. He's looking to leave.
Oh, shit.
Seconds away. But Sociable, we speak about his timing. That needed to be bang on.
I mean, he got away with murder in the last round, a double spray down as they came out of the smoke. This time, all he needed was that ult half a second earlier. But it takes them too long to put the pieces together, to figure out the cheat code that they were handed. And a messy round, a scrappy round turns to a sore round for Eternal Fire. Seconds away from winning. The loss
it was a good round, I said, didn't I?
5-3.
Yeah.
The gap closes slightly.
Yeah, that was moments away from being a genius play. Swap. A great shot, but they've got to defeat the maestro of mid. Echo always looking to get aggressive. An even trade, not too bad, but Cristalli down, your solo initiator. Gonna make things that little bit more difficult.
Ooh, we're so close.
This is cheeky. He expects
18,
the
bro,
second player
18.
to jump down, but it's not enough from Sop. This man seems like an unstoppable force.
I gotta do this again.
Someone to fear, 12 and 5, even looking for more. But now he has been dealt with. They don't clear the site. They've not checked it properly. That's all too easy. And now Echo ends it as well. A response immediately from Eternal Fire.
The Old Kings looking to keep their crown, but the challengers on the other side, the Young Guns, they are looking good. And remember, they were on a 5-round win streak. Lost one, and they're right back to winning ways. Fabian, he's had 2 showstoppers already in this half.
He might get a third.
And he's halfway to his third, exactly. Like, I mean, he will get it by the time we end this. I'd be shocked if he doesn't.
Yeah, he can almost get it off death. So,
yeah.
If he gets no more kills, okay. I think they might have made Sop a little bit angry. That's Ultimate Online. Not a lot to play with in this round, but maybe he can do enough. A rifle for Cristalli. A patient position from Izzy, just hoping that he can catch someone before they get that spike down. Instead, though, that overdrive has dissipated.
But that's the real problem now as you hear that pit come into play. Sop is not in the position I'd expect him to be in with a judge. I gotta be honest, I expect him to be in the pit, and maybe
oh my gosh, it dipped.
One, and it's Izzy down with Sop on another, and of course,
bro, I hate when it does this stupid shiz. I don't care if it loads for like a split-second round.
Hopefully that doesn't come back to bite him because Fabian's still around. 2 away from the showstopper. The Viper's already been rooted from the pit, but the decay coming into play. Yadage gets back in just as it falls, and Fabian falls along with it. And a Moda Thrifty coming in.
What did we watch?
Smiles on Yadage's face, no surprise. He took a leaf out of Echo's book there, put up the pit,
can't see.
right out of it.
Well, yeah, I'm sure there was a release of some sort. I think I've had the same, because that was literally a millisecond away.
I have to open my file.
Having that go the other way, and you can see it on his face. Fabian with the right read, the right positioning, but just not able to hit the shot, which throughout this map is not something I've been saying. 6-4, Foot climbing back into this one. As said, it's been defensive side prowess from Eternal Fire. Their attack has not been the best on this map. And for Foot, if they can get over onto that side, even close to even, I think they'll be quite happy with that.
There's a much needed round for Foot as that Sacred Flame stays guarded. The title of the best in Turkey still to be fought for even after this match, but securing that first
I must have forgot I was uploading when I fell asleep and turned my PC off.
Statement victory for whoever can find it. Eternal Fire. They put the Prowler out and they're rotating. They're leaving the space open.
How are we?
Is the
Pretty
lone
even. That's not
defender,
good.
and Sop has dealt with him immediately. There will be a showstopper online for the final round, but Fabian's going to have to wait for it. Foot looking to push up to 5, but that's a crazy smoke invade from Neki.
Yeah, it almost feels like Zeus was caught sleeping. Izzy now on the retake. Overdrive invested. Audas has already caught one, and the man on site gone. Sociable fighting back, in fact, with an impactful double. And it's messy, though, from Cristalli. It has to be Sociable to do it all. Now, bear in mind, Spike is dropped.
Do you think
he
he
does
can
have
go
his
to B?
ultimate to play with. And might just look to try and dip and wrap back around. Instead, though, he's selling the bait that he has, but he'll be caught on the flank.
7-4, 7-4.
And again,
ooh, it's close, it's close. Let's take a shot.
That's the problem. A flash in the pan. It's EF that are cooking. 8 rounds on the board at the half. That's the
Dude, these are poison. These are poison.
And again, like, what a historic set of stages we've had when you look at kickoff, sending BBL And now taking steps in the direction of Eternal Fire, joining that international roster in the very next tournament. Oh, we can see BBL alongside him.
Yeah, I'd say go back a little further.
EF to London would be funny.
Look at the teams that have come out of it. Look at the new heroes.
It's important, bro. It's important.
Facing off against some of the best, some new youngsters of their own. Already showstopper thrown in. Sop has been dealt with. It's perfectly placed as well. Cristalli will not get that plant in.
Oh my gosh. 8-4. 8-4. Pistols everything here. Pistols everything.
Singular rounds from the pistol.
Pistols everything.
That's relevant, really.
Neither am I, but I'll figure it out.
EF with a slightly higher one.
8-4, it's been
That's 3%, by the way.
From Eternal
It's actually
Fire.
like
So
2
far,
point something.
once the pace is set, it doesn't seem to change until the map is done for Foot. They have to hope that's not the case, or they'll be battling for a spot in London later on. It's not even straight into a qualifying match. They have a buffer as well. The road gets longer if you lose here. Eternal Fire in the pistol, lose Fabian, the star player of that first half, flattened in the first few seconds.
Yeah, the pistol rounds define the first 2 maps, but with a pistol and second under their belt, it wasn't enough for Foot in the first half. Now they need both pistols. It seems to have an opportunity in this one. Echo up close. Already not looking good, but they've already traded a couple.
Holy shit, Neki saved it.
Looking to try and save his team, lead by example.
He doesn't have paranoia.
Already in
no one does.
A little bit further, maybe expecting a wraparound, but there's no wraparound to be had. In fact, both players are slowly making a move around the elbow, but they haven't been spotted. In fact, the players from the other side have no
Holy
idea.
shit.
It doesn't matter though. Yetajay with a quick double. And that will be the pistol. Yeah, sit back down, bud. You need to defuse that spike.
Thankfully, he gets there in the end. And a much needed pistol indeed. That is 2 for 2
That is
on
needed,
this map for Foot.
but not good
despite
because I got
trailing
an hour,
heavily.
59
And these
minutes.
pistols will be looked back on
We're
as a
being late, bro.
lifeline. Whether crazy shots as well. Whether they make use of that lifeline or not, I don't know. And oh, he's saying they're in his pocket, man. That's ridiculous.
Maybe
Yeah, I thought he was going to pull down his pants or something. Holy shit.
For the rest of the map so far, but you know.
Let's start this part.
A wise man once said, maybe if you're not in the lead, you shouldn't be standing up and shouting.
Oh, I thought you were going to say 1 win away, boys. What could possibly go wrong?
No, that was a different
Pal.
wise man. I was quoting Yetajay, which, funnily enough, he has stood up. We'll see if that comes back to bite him. Of course, this round, very unlikely. I will say I've enjoyed the fact that we've seen Eternal Fire. I feel like utilize the Bandit a lot more than anyone else.
Yep.
Might not be the most accurate pistols at times, but those headshots do an absurd amount of damage.
Oh, a little overheated.
Lovely try. I mean, the flash just didn't catch as much as it needed to. I don't know if the wall got in the way there. I didn't see where it popped, but those players they thought would be blinded.
No one hit.
So sending in the judge makes sense. Advantage for Foot, but as you said, no one towards that B site. The stack on the other side. The thing to be careful of here is Sociable. He gets caught out in some of these rounds, and now I see him solo walking up into heaven, re-clearing this with a Bulldog, but his timing is perfect. It looks like he's going to avoid the fight completely. He's heard that plant coming in. He is now a little surrounded.
Wow, we got like
Will find that
flashbang.
shot. Here's the danger. His Echo comes swinging in, but he catches him.
Yeah, I feel like that retake percentage should go up a little bit. Again, a little bit of damage off the back of the Bandit. But yeah,
It's an okay
with the low
bonus.
weaponry on the other side, I don't think the expectations
that's
were
not the bonus.
particularly high. Foot aren't going to get
Well,
themselves to
they
6,
will
but
have
now we
an
get
okay
back into those
bonus.
fire rounds. And as said, if you look at the last half, 4 rounds, pistol, second round, and then everything else was an individual
The
round
judge?
elsewhere.
Strange.
Taking the time to go back and get the judge, which, you know, I'm sure is going to go straight back into Sop's hands. But this is where Eternal Fire have been fantastic so far. And if we're going off the buy runs in this map, they should be closing it. But, as I mentioned already, their attack sides of this map have not been particularly pretty. I'm waiting to see if that's going to be the case again.
And these are two teams that, despite having so many young players on it, you know, a lot of the conversation we've had in the past in these sort of situations is about the pressure and the stakes and how that plays into a player's mindset. Well, if you've seen these guys play a little tighter, a little safer, perhaps you may have been watching a different game. Doesn't seem to have had any change. Although, again, fittingly, the round I say that is Eternal Fire sitting back as far as they can, basically in their spawn, but it makes sense. Look what they're up against. A lot of mix and match weapons here for Foot, so you expect early aggression. They haven't seen it.
Yeah.
So what's the decision then?
The cool thing for the two IGLs is you almost have to think like yourself. What would I be doing in this moment if I had a Judge and some SMGs? I'd probably be pushing mid. So they hold mid, they watch mid. They're countering their own playbook. Obviously with some reads into what their opponents do on this map as well. We have seen both teams play it at least a couple of times. Cristalli, I don't know if he's been seen there, but he definitely has the information now. A little bit of help from his friend Yedege, but weaponry-wise, they are outmatched.
Yeah, and just breaching through to the A side so quickly leaves them in a spot where they don't have to take uncomfortable fights. That said, they go battling up into heaven, but it's anything but uncomfortable with 3 players sent that way. A big fight. It's almost their second site take. Even with that paranoia landing. Am I mistaken? Am I blind? That hit Echo, and he still got 2.
I don't think they affect him. I think we've seen that throughout this series so far. That
6-9,
when it comes to this guy
the most
being
important
blinded up,
ones.
He just doesn't struggle with it.
Or the most important round I can think of.
I'll name them
12.
Pacific. Yep. Well, he's nearsighted, so he gets away with it. But you've seen teams do that, and it's been infuriating because they've thrown rounds away. But that is just the confidence that comes with Eternal Fire. A team that at kickoff still managed to beat teams while having 2 stand-ins, while Echo wasn't allowed to play, while Sop was waiting on the sideline. He gets stolen by another team, and now they have the chance to ruin his day, but he is not giving it up without a fight. A couple of openers already for Sop. A big round for him individually, and he's got Sociable alongside him. In fact, they're continuing to battle.
It's a huge fight.
He wins it. And Sociable will end the round within about 25 seconds.
Yeah, his last bullet hit the shot, and we heard nothing but click afterwards. Sociable, cool and calm under pressure, trading out those early fights wonderfully alongside Sop. And the two of them have been having one hell of a game. Even though Foot were trailing by so much not long ago, they've been standing head and shoulders above the rest. And only a few steps behind now, as you can see the frustration in the Eternal Fire coaching booth. Never been this close to such a big achievement, and it's Izzy to hit the dirt right off rip.
Sop has been gunning for it. We mentioned before that Neki, other members of this Eternal Fire side, wanted to take him down. Qualifying over him would be something massive, but it has been proven that there was a reason why Foot looked to poach him from that squad. And already with the Judge opener, it's a decent start. Sociable again. Like, they're trying to pressure this A site, but they are walking into the 2 players that have been devastating for their takes. Zeus, though, his luck's not getting any better, but he'll at least get one with a nade.
Yeah, a little martyrdom action. Keep those numbers favored for
Right.
Foot.
Looks like we're gonna be tied up soon.
Ease. A complete crunch to put them one
Probably a
round
timeout.
behind. An Eternal Fire difficulties on the attack side, well, seem to be rearing their ugly heads again. A 4-1 scoreline at the moment, and what was a commanding lead. The questions there for if Foot could bounce back.
Strange.
Well, now we have to ask the question, will Eternal Fire return to this half?
Yeah, it's definitely a good time to take themselves a pause. I want to again just go back to some of those stakes, some of those moments that we've seen in the past.
Hopefully he doesn't go to OT. Oh my gosh, I skipped a lot. But then I didn't see anything.
And for the others, the 2 that have been there before, for
If I
Izzy,
saw
it's all about
ES
the
standing
comeback.
out there, it'd be
He spent
crazy.
a long time in that tier 2, didn't give up the grind. And for Yedege, he has watched all the players that made international events alongside him and before him leave, and he is the one who remains. A lot to play for in these last few rounds.
And for the entirety of Eternal Fire, you have to imagine how much it means to see the prodigal son on the other side of the stage, but this one didn't return. He left you for dead, and now he's coming back to finish the job. A double from Sop right after the timeout. Foot miles in the lead. Damage even done through the smokes, doubling down on every upper hand they have, and Sop is gunning for them, running it down on Odas. You could see the moment that his mind turned to the ace. 3 kills though, more than enough.
Tied up.
As the score line now stands equal.
This is really turning into the SOP show on this defensive side. The question always comes of who wants it more. We saw from the FUT coaching staff after that initial map, they knew that they'd have to get aggressive. They knew that they wanted to get in the face of their opponents. But the fact is they got shut down. And I'll say as well, for Eternal Fire, they have just been sending it into that A site again and again and again. They have been attempting to challenge SOP and Sociable, the 2 players that sit top of the board. Like, oh no, this time we'll get them. This time we'll get them. Well, it doesn't seem to matter what they change, what different pieces they put to try and break apart that duo. It is not working. And now they fall into a more standard default, but they have given FUT that runway by attempting the same thing again and again.
Let's see who takes the lead.
How things have slowed down, but they never stay that way for long, not in this matchup. SOP back at it again. 2 rounds in a row now. Izzy has fallen right off rip at his hands. And the fact is, in so many matchups, SOP would go again. He'd go in for more. He'd want that extra kill, but now patience prevails. Sits back on the op, and although they find that space,
Welcome to
oh, Cap's gonna say they're not putting enough pressure on to drag the rotates. Maybe now they are, but the dog has just spotted Neki. Now the ruse is so clear to FUT.
30 seconds.
Even still though, Yedeje went looking. That leaves Crystalli, I was going to say somewhat alone. The Viper's Pit has held a couple of players onto the other side of the map. And why, if at first you don't succeed, try again.
It's such a big round.
Eventually they're going to get that spike down on the A side, what they always wanted.
Just took a little fake towards that B side instead. Fabian, another showstopper. He's been farming these things up, and here's the payoff. A trade onto the op of Crystalli, and Sociable left alone. It seems like a 10th finally found its way into the hands of Eternal Fire. Sociable will be robbed of the clutch. And double digits as the lead stays with Eternal Fire.
Yeah, it's a nerve-wracking round and an incredibly bold attempt from Echo. Like, just throw the pit out as a fake, try and pull the rotations away. Clearly, desperately wanting to go in that direction. Although I almost wonder if part of it is they saw SOP get that opening kill and just go, nah, you know what, I don't want to do that anymore. Like, they have run into him for the last few rounds, so they attempt potentially to avoid him. It seemed like the plan was already in place, but that is just one.
Cutting it close, I like it.
With a Viper's Pit, if you no longer have a Viper's Pit, they also use a Showstopper as well. A lot of ults expended for a singular round. Do they have what it takes to do it without those ults?
So much chase.
A menace for these opening fights.
He might overtake Durka at this rate.
I don't think he's far behind after this matchup. But now there's an op on the other side. Izzy has his to work with. For so long, he's been just waiting there on ramp. Both players looking in the same spot, but not in the same position. Yedeje, that is such a sneaky play. But how does he get out of here? If there was anyone else there to trade a big battle bruise, but instead, he's left to leave for free.
They've got the read as well. And already a rotation has come in from Zeus. He's in the right place at the right time. Through the smoke goes SOP to try and help out his teammate instead.
How do you get that spray?
Fabian available for the trade. But there's still 2 players. Make that 3 now within the site. Do they go back the other way? Of course, they cannot know that there is such a big gap and such a stacked up site.
30 seconds left.
With 30 seconds left, they're going to try and push into this. Crystalli's operator shot doesn't connect, but Zeus up above does. Another now with that operator. It's all falling apart for Eternal Fire. It's a one and done. We said it in the last half. Those attack side rounds are few and far between, but this is now looking like
anyone's game.
Well, FUT have held the title of the best in Turkey for so long. Looking back at the old roster, so much changed about them, but it seemed like along with the players, the style, the coaching staff, they also changed the level that they're playing at, raised the roof.
Timeout.
But things didn't
Do we
look
skip
good
it? I
after that
kinda have
first
to.
half. Eternal
Probably
Fire,
45.
they had full control. They looked like the better squad.
I can't see what's it on though.
But now we sit.
And they need to try and find an answer to that. 10 and 10. All other rounds become irrelevant. It didn't matter if you had a massive lead. It doesn't matter if Foot has had a massive comeback. All that matters is who's the one to get these last few rounds.
Where are you?
Well, looks like Izzy's got a target in mind. Already speeding towards A Heaven, but no one there. They've backed out. Of course they have. Up against a low by hearing the Neon sprinted at you. Sop makes the right call. I'll back off and hold the angle. I'll have Zeus come through and fill in the gap in Vents, still holding mid with Yedege. And I guess the weakness is a slightly more weak B-hold, less info there, but that's fine, because the push is coming in elsewhere, and it's messy from Crystalli. That spray is going to haunt his nightmares.
Yeah, that's a gun for Izzy as well. A huge upgrade. They've got that post plant on
That's
the
not
Zeus.
worth
It's
at
only
all.
going to be a 1-for-1 trade, and in these sort of moments, that's absolutely fine.
That's
Gun going
worth
to other hands. Nice work from Yedege, though. The span clears one. Neki hasn't found, well, a rifle, but he has found a Bucky. Going to try and deter them up close. That paranoia wasn't pounced upon because they knew how close they'd need to get. Sop finding the trade, but even still, things come down to
2v2?
even.
How?
Fabian's looking to push that little
Got a
bit
retake
further,
with an object,
making the
that's fine.
realization they could just
And
be
he
around the
swung,
corner, but he
okay.
doesn't hit the shot. And now Neki without the right gun to play with. It's a distraction game from Sop. Leaving it to Sociable to close. That duo has literally been devastating them on this A site every round.
They broke his wrist so much he couldn't left click. I mean, the guy couldn't find the trigger. That's ridiculous.
He could have breathed.
Yeah, it's not a pretty spray to start this off, but
look at this.
This is the one here. Oh, man. The ankle breaker.
Stop picking your nose.
For Eternal Fire, a game that they were fully in control of. Those reins have been snatched out of their hands, and they've been kicked
It was
from
not
the
decent,
sleigh. The lead,
like half
no
by,
longer
but
theirs.
still.
Now in the
It
hands
was
of
winnable.
Foot. The hands of the banner that has burned brightly. Under with a mountain of Turkish talent underneath them. They've always been the best, and it looks like they're gunning for that title once more to hold on to their crown.
Oh my gosh, it's so close.
That was kind of the funny thing this
Biggest
year.
round,
We
yeah,
talked
biggest
about
round yet.
missing the boat with talent.
Yeah.
And at the last moment, coming into this stage, they made the change. They gambled. They threw away what had been a long route of players. And if it works out with them making it,
what?
That would be everything to them. Crystalli's whiff in the last is forgotten, but he still
Should've
goes
called
down.
it.
Overfights, wanted a little too much, and gives away that A site. The hold has not been fantastic either, though. Another opportunity.
No one really has ults here. Oh, he's
Given the
completely
Garden of
useless
Eden,
this
but
game.
the apple drew his eye. Now the
At least he got
3v3 on
traded
the
out.
A site. It's this cross from Audaz, though. He can be the trigger point for the rest to go. Echo hears them steaming out of heaven. He's got the perfect position.
Holy
And
shiz.
finally the spray finds its mark, but Sop now on the defuse, draws them into the fight, lands the first, and the almost there. But
Echo saving
ever
it.
the hero of Eternal Fire,
This is such a good series.
wins
Trust me.
again. He
They're broke
steps
though.
up to
They're
the
broke.
plate, steps in
Do they
for
even
the
have like
rescue.
a full buy?
It leaves us at 11-11 and nail-biter conclusion coming up.
Yeah, it really has just come down to individual plays at this point. Echo had to land the shot. He had to land everything in front of him. You can even see it looks like he's fighting his mouse. That's what playing against the Neon feels
Sit down.
like. And it really is just like all of our coaches have become bipolar. They're flipping between the personalities of elation
My bipolar test?
and
What?
devastation every single round. It is tough to break. The good thing for Foot is they still had some credits on the table, but even those are beginning to dwindle. Both sides pushed to the edge of what their economy can hold. Foot at least have a couple of extra ultimates, but that will flip. They lose this round, and you could be seeing everything online for Eternal Fire to close out the map. They win this round, and the same could be said to go to OT.
There's a nasty bait setup in play here towards B main. Obviously the first point of contact being Sop, but then Zeus waiting. They expect Eternal Fire to go towards this position. And late they put in the showstopper to take them out. That's a massive pick onto Neki. And any notion of going back in the other direction, is now gone, but that means they press forward into the lone defender of Cristalli with
Got
the
him.
charge up close.
Oh, what the shot though.
11 to 11.
Nah,
It's
you're
all
cooked.
on the line, but only one man can push them up to it.
He kept the sniper?
1v3 on the back of what was nearly a big clutch in the previous for Foot. For Sop now,
He's screwed.
is he the man who has to do it? And he
Good
won't
touch,
even
bro.
get the first.
Here's the just the Fnatic fan in the back.
About a climb back, a
That was funny.
monumental climb back. An Eternal Fire. Well, if this round doesn't go their way,
Not
they're gonna look back
monumental
and go,
at
yeah,
all.
well,
What are you
we
talking
lost
about?
both pistols. Yeah, well, we
It's
won
split
the
on
first map,
defense.
but then we got dominated on ascent. The excuses will fly, but the fact is there's been opportunities. The post plants on these A sites haven't been solid. Sop has stepped up, sociable as well. In fact, there hasn't been a player that's missed the opportunity to steal rounds away. And then you look at the weaknesses within this buy. The strengths come with the ults. A showstopper for Fabian on what looks like maybe the first direct B hit that we may even just see from this side.
Well, to steal the
Holy
crown
shiz,
away,
Neon scared me.
the eternal flame of Foot's victory in Turkey again and again. A historic team.
Let's see how they play this pit. You got Omen watching flank and then 4 in pit. It's pretty good.
Mountain to be climbed.
That's what you
Stops here
need.
by pushing to overtime. Inside
There they go.
Nade goes through. It's forced them forward. The Viper is going
Oh,
to be
GG.
caught. Now the pit goes down and everything
It's completely
to
mental.
action ruin for Eternal Fire.
Stop picking your nose.
So
I was off
bright,
camera too.
dimmed and snuffed out by Foot. Then the Turkish derby.
Alright, Foot, I see you.
That goes the way of the favorites. The banner of old flies once more as Foot lock in London.
Oh, Som's going for his aura moment. He's facing off against his old teammates. They mentioned it earlier in the week.
Insane.
There was some blood that would be shed, and they were hoping
Did I
to
predict
take
that to
him
happen?
down.
Nope.
He sits atop the board in the map.
Oh wait, did I
that
predict
mattered
Foot to
most.
London?
But it was not a one-man effort. That is a team that has been built in lightning fast. Think back to the beginning of the stage. They made their roster moves at the last second. We heard stories of lack of practice, no time, people flying in 2 days.
No,
before
I
the
didn't.
stage
Oh
began,
my
and they were
gosh.
lights out up until
How did
they
I not
faced
do that?
Heretics. Even still, they come in off that defeat, get
Oh, we gotta check,
decimated in map number 1, and then manage to turn
Fudge, we
things
gotta check.
around throughout the series from a
Ah,
low in the first
China.
half to the highest of highs. And for those
Oh my
massive
gosh,
changes,
DRG
their
fucking made it.
reward, well, for now, they're the number 1 in
DRG
Turkey,
to London.
but also they have made it to London.
Back onto the international
I put all
stage
gamers.
where that Foot flag belongs.
How many picks do I have?
We've even got the neon emote to
GE,
close it
that's
out.
1.
It has been a sensational game between
Alright, we're
these two. But
cooked.
after that first map, I'm sure many out there thought Sop made a mistake. And he's now going to watch the boys he turned his back on qualify in his
And I
stead,
need
but
4
no,
and I have
he
1.
came through.
All games are
dominated
out.
in this final map. And
We haven't
showing
even
that Foot
seen
have got
Americas
that
yet.
depth. They've got the resilience to fight their
PRX
way
and
back.
KRX
A
are in the lower
reverse sweep,
bracket,
and
but only
Masters
1, so that's like
London
2,
locked in.
unless T1 win.
Now it's time to go down to the stage.
I have
and hear
TL
from a
Fnatic
no doubt
Heretics,
elated Sop and Vlad.
which I am hoping for
There is
Fnatic.
so much that comes from
Alright, I got a peace out for 4 hours and I'll be back. What do we watch? What do we watch? What Full Sense? And this. So our teams currently that I know is Foot, GE, Full Sense, EDG, Dragon Racer Gaming, and Zinzao Gaming. Zinlai Gaming. That's 16th, man. Oh. And we still got 1 for Pacific, 2 for Emea, 3 for Americas. Alright, I'm a peace out. When I'm back, we'll do some shiz. We'll finish this, go into Pacific, then Americas. Alright, peace out. 4 hours. 4 hours.